So hey guys, this is your favorite fictional vortex. So in this video, we will see what if Naruto had Obito Sharingan and become powerful Senjutsu. But before we start, remember to subscribe and like this video. Now let's start. Obito had just protected Kakashi, Sasuke, and Naruto from being hit by Kagaya's Tamagoroshi no Haikatsu all-killing ash bones, which was beginning to break down his body from the impact area. Why? We should both. Kakashi asked. Your power is still needed here. Just leave me. I've always been useless. However, I owe Naruto a gift and intend to give it to him. You and Sasuke need to focus on the enemy and buy me some time. As my own time is limited and it's going to take it all. I have to finish this. Obito interrupted while grabbing the ever-grow hole in his gut. Black Zetsu begins talking smack about Obito trying to get Naruto riled up and it was working. But Sasuke interrupted. Naruto, calm down. He's just trying to get under your skin. He activates his perfect Susanoo and takes off into the air heading straight to the Rabbit Goddess to buy Obito the time he needs. Which he achieved high's objective when Obito manages to make it to Naruto. Obito? Naruto asks, looking at the weakened Uchiha. Obito smiles as he placed both of his palms over Naruto's eyes. Naruto, become Hokage at all costs. I believe in you. You look so much like your father. He said, and with that, he turned to dust. Yeah, Naruto whispered as he opened his eyes, revealing to now have Obito's Sharingan. He glared up at the fight going on in the sky between his friend and Kagaya. In a flash of gold, Naruto blitzed Kagaya, slashing her arm off with Black Zetsu attached to it. The arm fell down to the ground. Which Naruto followed to pin it down thanks to one of the Gurudamas floating behind him. Kagaya, enraged and shocked by the blonde's actions, fired her chakra arms at Sasuke, crushing his Susanoo, but not before he cut her with his massive blade. As Sasuke dropped from the sky, Naruto came in and secured him on the ground. Naruto and the 8 other clones he created each had a Rasen Shuriken infused with Biju Chakra. Let's do this, guys, Naruto thought. HMPH. Yes. Okay. Alright. Understood. Sure. Got it. Yeah. Let's do this. All the Biju cried out in order from Shukaku to Yin Kurama. Senpo. Super Biju Rasen Shuriken, Sage Art. Super-tailed Beast Rasen Shuriken. The 9 deadly chakra shuriken whirled through the air and hit their target dead on, causing a multi-layered explosion. Naruto and Sasuke looked at each other and nodded before went in for the kill. They both rushed at Kagaya with speed not even seen in the shinobi world, and both put their hand with the seal on her. Rakudo. Shibaku Tensei, 6 paths, catastrophic planetary construction. They both howled. Kagaya, not one to give up without a fight, with the last of her power held. Yomatsu Hirosaka, underworld slope hill. And only had time to throw Naruto into the portal. The last thing Naruto saw was Kakashi and Sakura shocked faces seeing him fall into the portal. Sasuke tried to grab Naruto but Ailden was racked with guilt because he couldn't save Naruto. Unknown location. Naruto had a high tolerance to pain, but he had never felt pain of this degree before. It felt like every cell in High's body was being ripped out one by one as he was moving through this wormhole that the Rabbit Goddess created. His Rakudo Sennin mode had deactivated since he could no longer maintain it due to the pain. He could still feel Kurama's power radiating through his body, trying to keep him in one piece. He didn't see any end to it. He thought this was going to be the end for him. This experience seemed to be going on for hours and hours, possibly days, weeks, months, or even years. Naruto couldn't even tell at this point. However, in reality, he'd only been in this wormhole for maybe a minute at the most. He heard Kurama's voice calling out to him, telling him to remain awake and not to fall asleep or something like that. All Naruto knew at this point was pain, unbearable pain. It finally happened. Naruto looked and there was the end to this portal. He was thrown out as he crashed right into the ground. The last thing he saw was a man in his late 20s who had black hair with a golden highlight and violet eyes, looking quite surprised. To say that the man was surprised that a young man just happened to fly out of a portal that opened up above him was an understatement. The man was sporting a G.O.D. smacked expression, feeling the amount of power coming from this kid. It was immense, even greater than Valley's own power even if he went all out. Damn, this Gaki has a lot of power. He's an absolute gold mine. Well, you don't get an opportunity like this every day. I'm sure he'll bring great fortune to us all in the coming days. Thought the man. This man calmly walked over to R down the blonde hero and picked him up before throwing him over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes. This man in question was none other than Azazel, Governor General of the Grigori faction. This man released 12 pi TCH Black Angel wings and took to the sky as he headed for his home. Naruto's mindscape. Drip, 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 splash. Naruto stirred awake by the sound, opened his eyes to the familiar setting of his mindscape. Everything looked normal, but he could tell there was something off. Kurama was nothing more than skin and bones at this point, looking like he was on death's door. Naruto was worried out his giant furry friend, so he went over and began to stroke Kurama's fur. He notices Kurama shifted at the touch. Oi Kurama, wake up. Kurama, Kurama, oi furball, Rog, don't call me a furball Gaki. Kurama, what happened to you? Are you alright? Naruto spoke to the monster-sized kitsune. Kurama simply blinked at his host's concern for his well-being. If only Mito or Kushina would have cared. This much for him, maybe being sealed inside them wouldn't be that bad. Naruto, the reason why I look like this is because I used all of my power to save you from dying, Kurama replied in a tired tone. Naruto gave a small nod before asking another question. Oi Kurama, do you know where we are? The young shinobi asked in a curious tone as he knew he was thrown through some kinda time-space technique. No, I don't. I'm completely out of chakra, and all that left of the other bijus are their small portions of chakra. So we're not in Kagaya's dimension world thingy. We passed through her portal, we are in a new world. And will most likely never see our world ever again, I'm sorry. Naruto looked down with a despairing look on his face. Tears began to form in his eyes. He balled his fists and gritted his teeth. Naruto, calm down. How can I calm down? I'll never see them again, how am I? Gaki, shut up. Kurama took a calming sigh and spoke. Look Naruto, think of it like a new lease on life. Naruto looked down but nodded and gave a sad smile. Oh, and before I forget Naruto, I had to absorb the chakra portions of the other 8 biju in order to save you. If I had not done that, your body would sustained much more severe injuries, and you would have left you in really bad shape even with my power healing you. Kurama explained. Naruto then looked at Kurama, as he noticed the 10th tail behind the giant kitsune. Ah, Kurama, you have 10 tails. Kurama simply grinned, sure he was missing his yang half, but not only was he enhanced by Naruto's Rakudo Sennin Chakra, 6 paths Sage Chakra, making him even stronger than he originally was when he was whole. In addition, to top it all off, he had gained a 10th tail, increasing his power further. Yep, I'm truly badass, aren't I? Kurama spoke with a grin as Naruto gave the giant fox a deadpan stare. You also still have the Rakudo Chakra, 6 paths Chakra, and Obito Sharingan and Mangekyo Sharingan. Although you will not awaken Rinnegan, as you do not possess Indra Chakra. But to be completely honest, you don't need it, you're strong enough and you are Rakudo Oji-san's successor. The Nadaime no Rakudo Sennin X paths. Kurama spoke with a grin as he yawned and laid his head down on his hands' paws. Naruto for his part had a blank look on his face. On one hand, he would gain all those abilities that Kurama was kind enough to give him. But he wouldn't awaken the Rinnegan, which he really didn't care about that much. Obito's Kamui was more than strong enough, plus with both halves of Hagoromo's power. Is no telling how strong he truly could become. Kurama would say Naruto's potential is now limitless as his body changed so much and so drastically in the span of the past 45 minutes. Kurama yawned again. Well Naruto, I'm going to be sleeping for a while, I don't know how long we'll be asleep for. So in the meantime please try not to die. Kurama spoke in a sarcastic tone before closing his eyes. Naruto was about to yell at Kurama before he felt his consciousness being forced out of his mindscape. Unknown location. Bedroom. Naruto's eyes shot open as he shot up out of the bed, breathing heavily. He placed his hand on his stomach, looking down to see that his seal was indeed still there. He winced in pain as his body still hurt somewhat, his chakra reserves were low at the moment. So you have to take it easy for the time being. Naruto then noticed the room looked rather fancy, as if it belonged to someone who was a higher up or in royalty. Okay, This is definitely not a hospital, thank the almighty log. But where in the hell am I? Naruto questioned himself as he laid his head back down on the pillow. After a few minutes later, the noise of the doorknob turning his attention very quickly. Turning his head to the door as it was opening, he saw a man in his late 20s with black hair, golden highlights, and a goatee while wearing what looked like a bathrobe. The man was holding a tray with glasses and a bottle of sake. The man in question placed the tray down on a table next to the bed and sat down on the edge of his bed, pouring himself a drink. Good, I see that you're awake. So what's your name? Mine is Azazel. Naruto felt a little uneasy as he stared at the man sitting at the edge of his bed. Using the negative emotion sensing that he gained from Kurama, he could tell that the man meant no harm. However, Naruto could sense there is more to this man than meets the eye. My name is Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. Azazel began to chuckle at the name Naruto. Nice to meet you, Fishcake. Azazel spoke in a joking tone as Naruto's right eye twitched. Oi, don't call me Fishcake. My name means Maelstrom. Naruto growled out. Hehehehe. Could have fooled me, but regardless, it's pleasant to meet you, kid. We are currently in one of my houses in the town of Kuo. Azazel chuckled. Naruto just grumbled under his breath. Now, with all kidding aside, who are you exactly? You have a large amount of power in you. More than any human should ever possibly possess. So what faction are you from, Naruto? Azazel asked our blonde hero. Naruto gained a slightly confused look on his face. Factions? What are you talking about? I'm a shinobi. As for my power, it's called chakra. Naruto spoke bluntly, as he was lost. Granted, it's not exactly normal for a being to come from the dimensional gap. Azazel then began to scratch his chin deep in thought. Chakra, if I'm not mistaken, is an ability that belongs to the Ukai faction, and Senjutsu users in general. His power is definitely a lot thicker and much more potent than any Yuki I know. Maybe I can get Kuroka or Baiko to possibly take a look at him. Azazel thought to himself. Azazel then turned his attention back to Naruto. Okay, Naruto, I can see that you're definitely fully human, but your power is somewhere in between a high class and ultimate class devil. Which that on its own is an incredible feat in itself. Although, I can tell that that is in your full power, is it? The older male inquired, knowing for some reason the human he took into his house is far from your typical mortal. No, it's not, Azazel OG-san, my body's still recovering from my battle. Therefore, I would say this is roughly around 20% of my full reserves of chakra. I could be a little bit off, it could be a little bit more or a little bit less. Naruto said in a laid-back tone but thoughtful tone as he leaned against the headboard of the bed. Azazel's eyes widened at hearing that. Around only 20% of his full reserves. And how powerful would he be at full power? Azazel cried in thought. Azazel then decided to change the subject as he was more curious about the boy's past. So Naruto, where exactly did you come from? He said with a serious look on his face. Naruto gulped. Gee, I hope this works, Naruto shrieked in thought. Well, Azazel, you see, I don't exactly come from this world. Azazel nearly choked on his sake. What did you just say to me? Azazel said in between gasps of air and coughing in a bewildered tone. Naruto gave a slightly frustrated sigh. This is going to be a long story, I can already feel it, Naruto groaned to himself. Well, you see, I was in a war fighting against a goddess, and right before me my best friend were able to seal her way. She kind of opened up a portal in space and time and threw me into it. Naruto began to tell his amazing tale. Azazel knew he was going to be drunk by the end of this, so he grabbed the bottle and began to take swigs of it at a steady pace. Time skip. How long has it been since he has entered this new world or supernatural beings and factions? It feels much longer than the actual time he had originally came to this world. However, for Naruto, it's only been 2-ish years since he arrived, and many things had happened during this span of time. First was an introduction to the major players in the Grigori faction. Azazel brought Naruto back to Grigori and introduced into several other members of his faction. Azazel himself reminded Naruto a lot of his deceased godfather, Jiraiya. They were both perverts and they were both kind-hearted men and had their occasional moments of stupidity. However, Azazel always meant well and would never cause harm to anyone unless they deserved it. The first member Azazel introduces Naruto to was Shemhazai. He was a young, handsome man with white hair and blue eyes. Shemhazai was the vice-governor-general, the second in command of Grigori. He took his job very seriously and wouldn't hesitate to punish Azazel if he did something stupid. The man was extremely polite to Naruto and always did his best to help him in any way he could. The next member was Barakiel. He was best friends with both Azazel and Shemhazai. Naruto couldn't help but feel bad for him. Her own people murdered his wife and his daughter blamed him for it. In addition, Barakiel was a major masochist, which made Naruto cringe knowing he had a little bit of a masochist in him. However, not to the degree Barakiel has, as Naruto didn't find pleasure in it. His mom clearly was dominant with his father when they were alive, of course. Naruto didn't help but feel bad for the man since his daughter accused him of abandoning her and her mother. Naruto could understand Akino's pain, but in his opinion, she went a little too far. Kokubile was an asshole, enough said. Naruto knew one thing: he didn't like Kokubile not one bit, and Kokubile didn't like Naruto either. Armaro's like other fallen angels, has black hair and violet eyes and has a muscular physique like that of Azazel's or Barakiel's, with a wildish beard. He wears armor, a helm, an eye patch and a cape. The man was really nice, friendly and easy to get along with, but took his job researching anti-magic very seriously. Although the man was a little too crazy for Naruto's at times despite their friendship they had. As he loved dressing in this thing called cosplay and shout about slaying evil. However, Naruto knew Armaros was a decent man and they got along fine. Sahariel was next, had short spiky black hair and blue eyes. He was rather emotionless and liked staring up at Moon, to which he researched along with things closely connected to it. The man gave off a slightly creepy aura whenever Naruto was around him, as Naruto chose to avoid him although, when confronted with the man, Naruto remained polite and kind, offering help if Sahariel needed it. Which the fallen angel took a liking to Naruto for this, as no one really offered to aid him. In addition, the final member Azazel introduced Naruto to was Tamiel. This guy was almost as lazy as Azazel and he was just as perverted too. He was the head of the business department. Therefore, Naruto decided to publish several book series, including his godfather's entire series of Ichi, which he owns the rights to. Tamiel immediately hugged Naruto and thanked him for the heavenly novels he had left in his hands. So he immediately started making copies of them and sold them worldwide. Ever since that happened, Grigori became the richest faction in any world. Naruto also knew this entire world was filled with nothing but perverts of varying degrees. Nonetheless, this happened within the first few months Naruto started living with Azazel. As time passed, Naruto was increasingly aware he needed to get into training, as he had now Obito's Sharingan to train with and master. So using Azazel's training grounds and sparing against Barakiel, Azazel, or even Shemhazai at the time, Naruto was beginning to get back into the shape of things, though he wanted to improve upon what he didn't back in the elemental nations. And that's when his hellish 2 years of training kicked into high gear. Naruto focused on several aspects of his training, both abusing the Kage Bunshin's ability to transfer experience back to the original. Using this to his advantage, Naruto trained refined in his shinobi abilities. Focusing on his physical abilities, first Naruto trained in taijutsu, going through his forms of the strong fist and frog kata. However, he knew that he only trained in the basic forms of the strong fist with Lee and Guy. In addition, the frog kata is meant to be used with his senjutsu, so he needed to advance his fighting style a bit more. That is when he discovered the wonderful thing called the MMA in video games. Now, while not such a great source of fighting material with video games, but the developers did create some interesting things when it came to the world around him. Naruto's taijutsu now has the foundation of the strong fist mixed with MMA techniques such as counters, feints, false openings, and other things he noticed while in this world. It greatly helped. Barakiel was not only great at his holy lightning magic, but he was great in hand-to-hand combat too, which helped immensely for Naruto as he wanted to refine some things about himself. He also worked on his fuinjutsu, taijutsu, kenjutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu, bukijutsu, tracking, assassination, survival, hunting, poison making, cooking, hacking, investigation, martial arts, strategy, medical knowledge, stealth, weapon improvisation, weapon proficiency, and many other things. Despite his limited experience in Fuinjutsu, Kenjutsu, Ninjutsu, assassination, poison making, and various fields, Naruto did know the basics or more on the subjects when it came to Fuinjutsu. He had a seal master for a mentor and a godfather after all. It's common sense Naruto learned from Jiraiya about the art of seals no matter how limited it may be. Naruto spent the time learn more than the basic first aid, learn to cook more healthy dishes as Shemhazai, or moreover his wife wouldn't allow Naruto to eat ramen like he once did. Shemhazai taught Naruto some Kenjutsu styles he picked up on and sword styles from both western and eastern halves of the world, which benefited Naruto greatly after quickly getting down the basics. And more advanced move sets Shemhazai taught him. He started using more shinobi-like skills when it comes to weapons, tools, or even skills. He took his training seriously and even sat down to read a few books, much to his ire and annoyance. Naruto needed to be better rounded than he is, as he had a limited ninjutsu set of skill and mostly relied on his Kage Bunshin, which he didn't mind too much, but Barakiel wouldn't have it. Relying on one skill or ability alone, according to Barakiel, Azazel, and Shemhazai, was extremely risky in this world, as most if not all supernatural beings have multiple skill sets other than magic or hand-to-hand. Often or not, most supernatural beings master 4 to 5 skill sets to a very high degree. Such fields are magic, weapons, hand-to-hand combat being the most common anyone masters to a degree. While having his spars with Barakiel helped, Naruto also trained in his newly Sharingan, which was somewhat an annoyance to get down. Thankfully, for some odd reason or another, Naruto knew how to work it based on instinct alone. While Naruto trained, and collapsed multiple times due to pushing himself beyond what humans could possibly even image. Moreover, beyond what would kill most if not all shinobi from his world. Naruto's development wasn't slow, nor was it extremely quick. His training and growth took time, and it took plenty of effort to even improve upon one thing without the aid of the others he grew close to. Naruto's training was rough, extremely hard, and even at times would possibly put him at death's door if it wasn't for Barakiel, Azazel, or Shemhazai interference. Due to being supernatural beings, Naruto wasn't physically conditioned the same as Shemhazai, Azazel, or even Barakiel. They didn't have a human's body or limits. Despite Naruto's shinobi and all his power or abilities, Naruto could still die if his heart was destroyed, he lost too much blood, or his wounds were too fatal for his regeneration to heal. However, that didn't stray the Uzumaki from his training or what he wanted to accomplish. It wasn't until about a half a year in Naruto took interest in magic and wanted to learn more about it, and if possible use magic if he could, which Barakiel, Azazel, and Shemhazai were all too happy to teach Naruto about magic. The problem was Naruto needed a magic circle so he could use magic. Moreover, considering Naruto's primary source of power was chakra and not any magical energy, Azazel, Barakiel, and Shemhazai began teaching Naruto the very basic magic spells known as signs, which did warriors employ from an age long past. Sign magic was very basic and easy to use, and with Naruto's shinobi skills they would complement him perfectly. So while Naruto continued to train, take missions every now and again, or even hang out with Azazel, Shemhazai, Barakiel, and even Penemu, Naruto studied magic and several subjects among other things. Azazel had Naruto pick out which magic he wanted to learn about besides signs, which Naruto chose animal magic, elemental magic, gravity magic, healing magic, and space magic were the subjects he was chosen, which made Azazel smiled. Azazel even offered to teach Naruto his personal magic known as Twilight Magic, a style of magic Azazel himself created about 100 years after his fall. Naruto accepted his offer and his training continued from there. Lone Onyx Wolf, IR. Ounded Naruto out a bit more than what is compared to canon. True, Naruto is one of the strongest characters in the series. However, his ninjutsu skills are limited to Kage Bunshin, Rasengan, and other basic abilities. Current time, Naruto sat with his legs crossed concentrating, trying to get a full grasp on his newest magic, which Azazel kindly taught him. Although it was like pulling teeth trying to help Naruto learn magic, which eventually Azazel, Shemhazai, and Barakil managed to make a magic circle that would work as a filter converting his chakra into magical power. This surprisingly worked a little too well. Although this magic circle was permanently bonded to Naruto, so there is no way to remove it. Thanks to this, Naruto decided to learn a few different types of magic. The first type of magic Naruto decided to learn was animal magic, which it simply allowed the user to control the animals, transform themselves or others into animals, mimic animal traits and summon, create animal spirits and/or animals. They can communicate with animals, borrow their senses, possess them and otherwise use animals as extensions of themselves, transform into a kitsune, more specifically a kyubi. The next magic Naruto learned was elemental magic. He mainly learns this due to his inability to utilize elemental ninjutsu outside of his Rasengan, as he had never been good with hand seals. Naruto's most powerful elemental magic was wind, while his weakest was earth. Naruto used his wind magic for mid to long range combat, as well as flight. Naruto could also generate powerful tornadoes, something he can never do with ninjutsu alone. Next up was his lightning magic, which Naruto either fired bolts of lightning from his hand or summoned powerful bolt of lightning from the sky. Naruto absolutely loved his water magic, which allowed him to move much faster underwater, as well as the ability to breathe underwater, which was very surprising. As for Naruto's fire magic, just like his earth magic, he had a hard time controlling as it didn't seem compatible with him. However, Naruto had enough control over his fire magic to form small balls of fire or ignite things he focused on. Moreover, as for earth magic, Naruto was very limited, which he could only summon walls or pillars of earth out of the ground, which was perfect for defense but not much else. Much to his disappointment, but he still tried in earth magic despite earth and fire being his weakest elements. Naruto also learned gravity magic, which also gave him the ability to fly, as well as increase or decrease gravity around certain objects that he focused on. This also allowed him to manipulate and control gravity in forms of attacks and defense. The Rinnegan from his world inspired some of Naruto's spells he had under his belt with gravity magic. Naruto then chose to learn healing magic, which he wanted to be able to increase his skills even further other than being a bodyguard, assassin, etc. This would allow Naruto to not only be more useful on the battlefield but also help those in need. Naruto's knowledge of medical knowledge would Ba-chan proud. Even though he was nowhere near Tsunade's or Sakura's level, he gained enough skill and experience to leave him satisfied. Naruto then learned space magic. Even though he had access to Kamui, he didn't want to rely on his Sharingan too much. Therefore, he mainly learned space magic for teleportation, as well as the ability to bend, flip, crash, and warp objects within the confines of space. In addition, the final magic Naruto began to learn, which is his most recent and newest magic, was void magic. Which, upon hearing this request, Azazel nearly had a heart attack. Void magic was an extremely powerful and dangerous magic at that, which not even he was capable of using it. As it dealt with nothingness and non-existent manipulation, because if you weren't careful the magic would destroy you, leaving nothing behind, not even your soul. In addition, this is where we find Naruto today. He was currently sitting in the lotus position with his hands open as a small orb of black and blue energy was pulsating within his hands. Multiple beads of sweat traveled down his face as he struggled to keep the void energy completely stable as well as keep it balanced. Come on, I can do it, I know I can. Naruto thought to himself desperately as he could feel the energy becoming more unstable. No, I can do it. Naruto cried in thought as the small sphere afforded energy exploded, knocking him back. Ouch! Azazel watched Naruto from afar with a rather impressed look on his face. I can't believe he managed to hold the void for so long. I think that's a new record for him, 2 hours if I'm not mistaken, Azazel thought as he watched Shemhazai and Barakil made their way over to Naruto to make sure he was all right. Naruto, you need to be more careful when utilizing void magic. There is a reason why it's forbidden for anyone to learn it, Shemhazai lightly scolded Naruto. I know Hazai, it's just that I've never held it for that long before, Naruto replied with a slightly depressed look on his face. Shemhazai nodded in understanding, as Naruto's feats were nothing less but amazing. And with new and current biology, Naruto was the strongest human on this planet. Barakil shook his head. You should be proud of yourself, Naruto. Not many people can utilize void magic. held there only for beings in existence that can utilize it. Shiva, Ophis, Great Red, and Chaos are the only beings capable of using that magic. And the fact that you can maintain the unstable void energy for 2 hours is impressive enough. Naruto smirked at the older fallen angel's praise. Thank Bara, I needed that, Naruto said with a smile as Barakiel simply grumbled at the nickname. He had since given up trying to make Naruto stop calling him that. But then again, having Naruto around was like having a son. A stubborn son who didn't know his own limitations. If Naruto even had limitations at this point. Azazel then made his way towards the trio. I think that's enough training for one day, we don't need your burning yourself out again. Azazel put emphasis on the word, again. As it wouldn't be the first time they have found Naruto passed out from training too hard. Naruto simply grumbled a little bit but agreed nonetheless. Naruto both enjoyed and disliked Grigori. He enjoyed it for the new bonds and friends he made and dislike it for all of the assholes within it. In addition, most the friends Naruto made excluding the fallen angels are Baiko, Lavinia Reni, Lint Selzen, Kuroka, Tobio Ikus. And finally Valley Lucifer. Although the first time Naruto utilized his Sennin mode, Sage mode, not even he was instantly cornered by Baiko and Kuroka were both demanding answers from him. Therefore, he explains the best that he could that he learned it from the Toad Sage, which the two Senjutsu users stared at him with deadpan expressions. Obviously, they didn't believe a word he said, so Naruto decided to show them instead by using a powerful genjutsu called Genjutsu, Sharingan illusion technique, copy wheel eye, which he used to show them his memories. They believed him afterward. Lavinia is a beautiful woman in her 20s with long flowing blonde hair and sapphire blue eyes. She appears to wear standard magician robes with a hood. She and Naruto hit it off quite well as they were good friends. As she took the role of acting as Naruto's older sister and would lightly scold him in gentle way whenever he did some stupid. Often at times she also taught Naruto on the subject of magic when he was free. Tobio became interested in Naruto's stories of how he used to be a shinobi and would often ask Naruto to train with him. Was Naruto accepted? Although Naruto as considered the strongest member of Grigori after, he managed to defeat Azazel in hand-to-hand combat. Flashback. Down in the battle arena, Naruto stood across from Azazel with his fox features shish owing while Azazel had his 12 black angel wings showing. You ready, Fishcake tilde? Don't call me Fishcake. Arrow Karasu. Naruto yelled as Azazel's eyebrow twitched. Naruto charged in at Azazel, thrusting his fist forward. Azazel dodged it and countered with a kick that Naruto grabbed and threw him over his shoulder. However, Azazel landed on his feet and rushed forward, throwing a flurry of punches and kicks at Naruto. Seeing the fallen angel coming, Naruto activated his Sharingan, allowing them to perceive Azazel's movements in slow motion, as well as predict his attack. Naruto dropped to the ground as he sends a spin kick at Azazel's feet, trying to kick out the Governor General's feet. Azazel jumped in the air as he formed a large lance of light and threw it directly at Naruto. Naruto gritted his teeth as he opened up his hand, forming a spiraling sphere of chakra. Rasengan. Naruto howled out as his spiraling sphere of chakra drilled away at the lance of light, shredding from the point down. Azazel gritted his teeth, pointing his finger at Naruto as a small orb of light formed from the tip. He began shooting out blasts of light at Naruto, who dodged them effortlessly. Azazel descended to the ground and something he never expected happened. Naruto came out of the ground like a ghost, his eyes E4. The design is 3 stretched triangles evenly spaced around the pupil that ACH curved at the top around the eye to form a circle, making it similar to a pinwheel. Azazel created a dagger of light, thrusting it towards Naruto's head, but much to his surprise as well as all the spectators in the stands. The dagger of light along with his fist simply phased its way through. Intangibility and annoying but useful power you have there, Naruto, Azazel thought to himself before eating some distance in between him and Naruto. Naruto grinned as he turned off his Sharingan, mainly because of how much chakra the damn eyes ate up. Naruto jumped into the air before forming a large orb of flames in his hands before throwing it at Azazel. Azazel's eyes widened with fear as he remembered how hot these flames were. Damn, I didn't think you have to use this against him. Azazel cursed in thought, as he pulls out a small gold object with a purple jewel at the end of it. An explosion of chaotic blue lightning could be seen from the arena. Naruto gently landed on his feet as he could feel a spike in Azazel's power. Balance break. Down fall dragon another armor. Naruto's eyes widened as he saw Azazel's new form. Azazel was covered in gold and black armor as well as had multiple purple gems embedded in the armor. Naruto looked down at his hands before clenching them tightly before looking up at Azazel with a grin. Looks like you are finally taking this fight seriously. I guess I might as well get serious as well. Naruto closed his eyes as he took a calming breath before he closed his eyes. A few moments later some magenta pigment formed around his eyes similar to makeup. Upon opening his eyes he revealed his eyes resembled that of a toad, yellow irises with black horizontal brick-like pupils. Azazel, for his part, felt the massive waves of power radiating off Naruto. He had multiple beads of sweat going across his forehead and gave a frightened chuckle. I'll say this, Naruto, you're the most powerful human in existence, that's for sure. You're truly a monster. Azazel spoke as he got into a fighting stance. Naruto simply disappeared from view as he slammed his fist into Azazel's stomach. Azazel hacked up blood as it felt like his entire rib cage and stomach collapse. As he was sent flying across the arena. I didn't even see him move, at a new kind of speed right there, not even Valley can move that fast. Azazel thought to himself as he pushed himself off the ground. Naruto extended his arm as he projected a chakra arm out of his hand, which caused Azazel's eyes to widen as he quickly took to the air. As he looked up, Naruto was already above him, punching Azazel directly in the face, sending him hurling towards the ground. Naruto opened up his hand as a magic circle appeared in front of his open palm. Here, take this, Azazel, Naruto yelled as he unleashed an extremely powerful gust of wind towards Azazel, who barely dodged it. God damn it, Naruto stronger than I ever thought. There's no way I can beat him on my own. Azazel thought to himself before he looked up and saw Naruto rushing towards him with the gigantic sphere of spiraling chakra in his hand. Damn, looks like he won this match. I'm no match for him at all. Azazel thought to himself as he prepared himself for the pain. Take this, Senpo. Shoot him a Rasengan, Sage Art, Massive Rasengan. Naruto roared out. Naruto completely shattered Azazel's downfall dragon another armor with his Senpo, Shoot him a Rasengan. The explosion sent Azazel flying down to the ground, creating a crater. Naruto deactivated his Sage mode as he descended down to the ground as he walked over to the crater, which held the Governor General of Grigori. Flashback Kai. After the battle in between him and Azazel, Naruto's image within Grigori grew to new heights. Moreover, this caught the eye of Valley, who demanded Naruto fight him. Well, really wasn't much of a fight, was more like flailing angrily. While Valley may have been able to divide his opponent's power in half, Naruto had far more battle experience than Valley. In addition, continuously training under a Seraph and 2 Kadri in other forms of combat certainly helped. The battle ended with Naruto's victory, although Valley declared that he would continue to train harder and finally could defeat Naruto. Naruto smirked after hearing Valley's promise. Kurama was still asleep, but Naruto was still capable of fighting Satan-class beings with just his base Sennin mode. Although Naruto had only told Azazel about his Rakuto Sennin mode, which has certainly put Naruto up in the top 10 strongest beings if he were to use it combined with his Sharingan. However, Tonic HT was different. Naruto had promised to take Penemu out on a date tonight, which she was nervous as hell. He had never taken anyone out on a date before. Sure, he had asked Sakura like 1,000 times back when he was an attention whore. Moreover, she beat him up every single time just because he asked. Honestly, he couldn't understand why he liked her in the first place. Must be Penemu's doing. Penemu told Naruto that they were going to go to a place in Kyoto because she knew he hated wearing dress-up clothes. Moreover, he preferred wearing kimonos over suits. And Penemu wouldn't lie, she enjoyed wearing them too. Naruto is currently wearing a black kimono with red flames at the cuffs of his sleeves and the bottom of his kimono. He also is wearing a red sash with an orange obi. He was standing nervously outside of lone female Kadri class Fallen Angel room. I hope I look alright. Man, this is so troublesome. Oh great, now I sound like Shikamaru. Naruto mentally whined as he heard the door open. Upon turning to face Penemu, his jaw dropped. Penemu was dressed in an elegant blue kimono with sakura blossoms printed on the fabric, She had a pink sash on with a baby blue obi tied tightly around her waist. She looked absolutely beautiful. No, beautiful was the wrong word. Naruto couldn't even find a word to describe how good she looked. She left the gap open in the kimono for Naruto to get a perfect view of her cleavage. She gave a kind smile towards Naruto. I hope I didn't keep you waiting too long, Koi. She spoke in her usual husky but sexy voice. This sent chills down Naruto's spine. Her kind smile turned into a lustful grin. I finally got you where I want you, Koi. Your virginity will be mine, she thought to herself. Naruto snapped out of his hazes before offering her his arm, which she graciously took it before they vanished in a magic circle. Azazel stood with a grin on his face. I wish you luck, Naruto. You're going to need it, because you're going to be a new man tomorrow. Azazel thought aloud before heading off to his room to scratch a certain inch. Kyoto. Naruto and Penemu both appeared in front of an extremely fancy inn. Naruto raised an eyebrow in confusion, before glancing at his date. Penemu-chan, what kind of inn is this? The Uzumaki thought as he wasn't familiar with Kyoto. Penemu gave Naruto another kind smile. This is an inn I have been coming to for years. But it helps that I know the owner. He's a kind old man as well as a very powerful yokai. Penemu explains to Naruto, who simply nodded. Upon entering, Penemu walked right up to the desk and gently rang the bell. Although the person came into view caught Naruto by surprise. He was a short man around 3 feet tall. He had a long beard reaching down to his toes. He was bald on the top of his head and was wearing sunglasses. Why would he wear sunglasses in the middle of the night? Ah, Penemu, my dear, is wonderful to see you again, and I see this as the lucky man you've brought with you today. The kind old man asked in a polite tone. Yes, he is Jin-san. The newly named Jin gave a hearty chuckle. I take it you want the usual? He asked as Penemu shook her head. Now, I'm thinking about something a little bit better for Koi here. She spoke before gently slapping Naruto on the ass, making him jump a little. Oh, you are a very lucky young man, you know that. Jin spoke with a perverted grin on his face before leaving the duo to a large room. And don't worry about making noise, all these rooms are soundproof. The old man said before leaving. Naruto looked around the room and noticed there was a large futon big enough for 3 people, a few bottles of sake, some freshly prepared food. In addition, most importantly, a large heart spring in the middle of the room. Naruto had not been paying attention to Penemu, who had begun to undress herself. Penemu-chan, why did you? What are you doing? Naruto yelled in surprise as he saw Penemu completely naked. He tried to not stare at the goddess form of the female fallen angel. Why, I'm getting in the hot springs, Koi, would you care to join me? She spoke in a lustful tone as Naruto felt another shiver go down his back. Naruto hesitated at first but slowly began to undo his obi, as he slowly undressed himself. Upon fully undressing, Penemu eyes widened slightly at the beast Naruto kept hidden under his clothing. She lustfully licked her lips, as she took a sip of sake from her saucer. Oh, mama likes, she thought herself lustfully. Kuroka, you foolish girl, chasing after that battle maniac Valley. You, repassing up the perfect man right here, oh well, more for me I guess. Naruto quickly and efficiently got into the water, which was the perfect temperature, as he gave a relaxed moan. Truth be said, water was very relaxing, and also Naruto accepted a saucer of sake from Penemu, who was planning on sheathing Naruto's sword tonight. They spent the night relaxing in the hot springs, sipping sake, munching on a little bit of food. And Penemu managed to cuddle up to Naruto as she rested her head on his shoulder. She was so close, yet it didn't feel right to her. She had planned all this out. She even avoided any type of relief for the past 11 months, just for this special night, but it didn't feel right to her. She wanted Naruto to accept her, as she didn't just want to pop his cherry. No, she wasn't looking for a one-night stand. She was looking for love. Koi. Yes, Penemu-chan. Do I what? Penemu scolded herself. She is a powerful Kadri class fallen angel, not some weak SC. Schoolgirl standing in front of her childhood crush. Do you like me? She asked, hoping that it was going to be a positive answer and not a negative. For a few seconds, Naruto didn't say anything. The feeling of despair only grew by the second, as she believes she made a horrible decision. Yes, I do like you. You've been kind to me ever since we first met, Penemue smiled as Naruto continued. Alf, ow, I wish you wouldn't wear such revealing clothing. Not that I don't like, it's just I think you look better wearing clothes that doesn't reveal too much but doesn't hide too much, Naruto said as Penemue began to think. Is that what he liked, women that showed a little bit but not too much, just enough to catch your attention? You're beautiful, smart, strong, kind, and there are so many other things about you that I like. Whenever I'm around you I feel like I found something that's been missing from me for so long. Naruto said as Penemue gave a small gasp. What I'm saying is, Penemue see, Han, I think I've fallen in love with you, Naruto said as he leaned forward. Penemue froze for a second before snapping out of her little dazed before leaning forward before meeting Naruto in the middle. You're mine now, Koi, she whispered before she began to bounce up and down. Penemue wrapped her arms around his neck as she gently kissed him. Naruto kissed her back, although his mind was getting clouded by lust and pleasure. He. Why thank you, Koi, she giggled in between moans. She then increased airspeed as Naruto gritted his teeth. Ooh, fuck, I can't believe I managed to stop doing this for so long. Penemue cried out in pleasure. Upon hearing this, Naruto's eyes widened. What was all he could think about as he could feel a new sensation rushing through him. Penemue. He leaned forward as she twitched from the sensation. It was a good thing she used a spell to prevent herself from getting pregnant. Or she might be having a child with Naruto right now. Not that she minded carrying his child. In fact, I might cast a spell to help me get pregnant next time. I wanna feel pound me while I am pregnant too. So many things I wanna do with this godly of a man, she thought as she giggled. Leaning towards Naruto's ear, how's about another round, Koi? This time you get to pound me like an animal, Penemue spoke in a husky tone. Naruto simply chuckled. Who am I to deny my hyme? He simply replied. It had been roughly about 9 to 10 months since Penemue took Naruto's virginity, and soon after they began dating. And to say Penemue was a happy woman was an understatement of the century. She absolutely loved being with Naruto as he treated her with love, care, and devotion she wasn't used to before. So having a serious relationship with Naruto for her was one, if not the most amazing thing she is experiencing. And being hundred upon thousands of years old, Penemue wouldn't trade this happiness even if the world was burning into oblivion. Very few knew about their relationship aside from Azazel, Shemhazai, and Barakil. Normally Azazel would be jumping up and down in joy and would be telling everyone about Naruto's new relationship and about his status of being a man. However, Azazel decided to respect Naruto's wishes and keep it hush-hush, and that Naruto and Penemue reveal it when the time was right. Although there had been something bugging Naruto ever since he received Hagoromo's Rakuto Senin Chakra and Obito's Rakuto Chakra. Therefore, Azazel scheduled an exam for Naruto by some of his most elite medics. Although what Azazel found truly surprised him. Naruto was indeed 100% human, but from what the charts were saying, Naruto had extremely powerful life force much stronger than his own. That is not including what his biology readings showed as well, including the structure of his entire being. Therefore, Azazel can only estimate that Naruto would probably live just as long as an average devil, fallen angel. Azazel had no doubt. Naruto was a jump in evolution, as a scientist would likely say. A newer and stronger breed of human than what every supernatural being used to dealing with. In addition, these traits would be passed on to his later generations no matter how far descendant they are. So not only his descendants would have powers similar to him, but they will also gain whatever traits their mother has. Moreover, like Naruto, they will physically stop aging around 24 to 25 depending on other factors. If possible, even make his children and so on immune to certain weakness other species commonly have. Azazel kept this bit of information to himself, however, as Naruto had enough on his plate being a bodyguard, an assassin, and an all-around recon agent. Upon hearing the news, Naruto frowned, sure he wanted to why around for Penemue and their future children. However, having a lifespan that can last anywhere from hundreds to thousands of years seemed a bit much. Naruto could only guess it had to do with his different breeds of Rakuto Chakra and Kurama being a Jubi. Speaking of Kurama, Naruto hadn't heard a noise from his partner. He can only imagine how Kurama would react to this. Being stuck inside Naruto for the rest of his existence would probably not make Kurama too happy. Although Obito was able to expel his Jubi from his body, so why couldn't Naruto? Sure, he may not have had the Rinnegan, but he still had Rakuto Sennin mode and the Sharingan. Surely he'd come up with something, especially with the numerous Fuinjutsu scrolls Naruto found within the Kamui dimension. This doesn't include other numerous scrolls he found in the Kamui dimension that was left by Obito. It seemed Obito was quite the hoarder when it comes to ninjutsu and knowledge of shinobi subjects. There were scrolls for every subject, from chakra control to time, space techniques in the Kamui dimension, and from what Naruto gathered, Obito spent a lot of his time within his Kamui dimension studying and training when he wasn't doing anything else. This is where we Findley in his room within the main compounds of Grigori, within the fallen angel territory of the underworld. Naruto's room was rather messy, as it looks like a battleground for scrolls. Some were completely blank, other ones held information on Fuinjutsu, and a few scrolls had his own custom-made Fuinjutsu. The first Fuinjutsu Naruto ever made was a ramen creation formula, which was his greatest invention ever, although many of the other members could only simply shake their heads. Naruto made another Fuinjutsu for Kuroka and Baiko, which would purify the tainted nature energy of this world, allowing them to use their Senjutsu without any worry of becoming corrupted or drunk on power. However, it was still a prototype, and Naruto didn't want to risk them being blown to a million pieces if he messed up. So he needed a way to test it without endangering lives. Although this Fuinjutsu was far more different than any other, Naruto had spent nearly 8 months working on this single one. He had the key to his Hake no Fuinshiki, 8 trigrams seal, as well as Garotora scroll toad from Mount Myoboku, who would often aid Naruto in his studies. Og, why did To-san have to make such a complex seal? At this rate, I'll never be able to figure out a way to let Kurama without killing me. Naruto mentally cried as he felt like pulling out his hair. Maybe I can ask Garotora for some help later. Naruto pondered, as old as Scroll Toad did was stay in his body. Sighing, Naruto stood up as he cracked his back before turning off the light in his room. Upon opening up his door, Naruto was confronted by a familiar head of silver hair and dark blue eyes. "Valley, is everything all right?" Naruto asked politely, even though he knew exactly what Valley wanted. "Uzumaki Naruto, I have come here to challenge you to a fight," Valley declared in a proud tone as Naruto simply waved Valley off. "Go bug someone else. I'm busy right now, I need to go talk to Azazel Oji-san," Naruto said, walking away, leaving Valley to stay there alone with a look of pure rage. Naruto continued walking down the hallways until he heard a familiar deep voice. "Vanishing Dragon Balance Breaker." Naruto turned around as he saw Valley completely clapped in white scale-plated armor. There were blue jewels across various locations in the armor. Naruto narrowed his eyes and Valley as his eyes shifted to his Sharingan. As he got into his MMA fighting stance, without warning, Valley's body was cloaked in a bright blue light before he vanished from sight. Naruto quickly twisted his body, avoiding Valley's first strike. Naruto made a familiar cross-hand seal. "Kage no Bunshin Jutsu, Shadow Clone Technique," Naruto calmly said as 2 clones burst into life. Valley stretched out his hands as 2 light blue orbs formed in front of each of his palms. "Why won't you fight me seriously? You do the same tricks over and over again," Valley declared in a rather angry tone. Naruto's eye twitched at Hijab. His Kage Bunshin were referred to as tricks instead of godsend techniques that aided him greatly. Sighing, Naruto calmly looked at Valley with a calm expression as he stared into Valley's eyes. "The reason why I won't fight you seriously, Valley, is because if I did, I would most likely kill you. In addition, I do not believe in unleashing my full power on a comrade unless I need to," Naruto simply answered. Naruto's response had the opposite effect in Valley as he gritted his teeth before firing the 2 orbs at Naruto. Naruto stretched out his hand as his signature magic circle appeared before. Naruto's magical circle had an unusual look. The magic circle itself was a mix of orange and gold, while the runes inside were a sapphire blue. In the middle of the circle was the Uzumaki clan crest. And without warning, a portal opened up in front of Naruto as the 2 orbs entered, only to come flying out towards Valley. Naruto had used his spatial magic to rebound Valley's draconic orbs back at him. Valley quickly evaded his orbs of chaotic draconic aura. Valley flew down at Naruto at full speed with his fists cocked back. Valley didn't notice Naruto's eyes shifting into the Mangekyo, as he simply PT right through Naruto much to his surprise. How did you do that? Valley demanded. Naruto narrowed his eyes. You're going to be the first person to bear witness to this. Not even Azazel knows about this. Naruto spoke in a calm but emotionless tone. As a cold light blue aura surrounding his body like an otherworldly cloak protecting Naruto from harm. Valley's eyes widened in horror as he saw what came next. With Azazel. Azazel was currently sitting at his desk as he was glaring down a small square-shaped object on his desk. Curse you, you damn cube of Rubik's. The man yelled at the inanimate object on his desk. Azazel stopped cussing out the small square inanimate objects as he felt a tremor lightly shake the compounds of Grigori. But Azazel instantly stood up as he felt two familiar auras, Naruto's and Valley's. Azazel narrowed his eyes. Damn it, Valley, what did you do now? I've told you many times to leave Naruto alone unless he agrees to a spar. Azazel mentally cursed Valley out. Back with Naruto. There was a large hole in the wall as Valley laid there unconscious, his scale mail is completely destroyed and some blood was trickling out of his mouth. Naruto was on his hands and knees groaning in pain. It seems the side effect of his newest techniques seemed to hurt him a lot. I don't understand. Sasuke can use it without any problems at all, but I try using it in its econ to lowest stage and my body feels like it's being ripped apart from the inside out, Naruto groaned in thought. Could it be that I sealed off most of my Rakuto chakra? The Uzumaki thought as he dusted off his clothing. Naruto decided many months ago to seal off both his Rakuto and Rakuto Senin chakra off for the time being. As he feels it necessary to activate only when he needed it so he wouldn't be too dependent. Moreover, Naruto didn't want to rely too much on his Rakuto chakra as it made everything far too easy for him. Although even after sealing off his Rakuto chakras the blinding effects of his Mangekyo were still negated. Which confused the Uzumaki why he wasn't going blind. He wasn't a Uchiha and he didn't have the eternal version of the Mangekyo, so why was his Sharingan not robbing of his sight? Naruto groaned again as he pushed himself up to our standing position when he noticed several magic circles appearing around him. Azazel, Penemu, Shemhazai, and Barakil all emerged from their separate magic circles. Naruto, what happened? Azazel asked. Koi, are you okay? We all felt your power spike dangerously, Penemu asked in concern for her lover. It's obvious Valley started this fight. Shemhazai sighed knowing the descendant of Lucifer had some unknown desire to fight strong opponents. Shemhazai never paid the boy much attention due his time divided between Grigori, his wife, and teaching Naruto about their world, magic, and fighting styles he could use. The Gaki is causing a lot more trouble than he is worth, Azazel. In addition, he's the descendant of Lucifer. I don't understand why you even keep him around. Why not ship them off to Sirzex where he belongs? Barakil grumbled in annoyance. It wasn't uncommon for fallen angels to dislike devils, including one of Lucifer's own line. Lucifer, when he was alive, wasn't the most pleasant person to be around. He was arrogant, extremely prideful, and cruel after his fall from grace. Even Lucifer's own wife Lilith, the mother of devils, despised the man later on in their marriage as they did not see eye to eye. Lilith wanted to have a loving family and husband without the God of the Bible interfering in her life. She wanted to be free and live a life she was happy and free. Not chained down to a shackle because of some book or system that she was depicted in. She also hated her first husband Adam, who was oppressive and abusive. He wanted to control her and make her submit to his every action. Moreover, history knew how a part of that went. At least that's what her diary said when the anti-Satan fact in a museum. Lucifer wanted to slaughter and kill every angel and human that worshipped his father. This didn't include all the inhuman and horrid acts he did. It seemed his fall from grace mentally broke the original Lucifer and he went mentally insane. However, that is far in the past. Naruto sheepishly scratched the back of his head as he had an unsure look on his face. You probably can guess Valley challenged me to fight. I declined and began walking away as I need to speak to you about some Azazel. Of course, Valley didn't accept that, so he activated his balance breaker and attacked me. So I defended myself in the reason why this area seems destroyed. Naruto stopped for a second before deciding to tell them. The reason why this area is destroyed is because I tested a new ability of my Mangekyo against him. And it was stronger than I originally thought it would be. Naruto explained. New ability, what is it? Azazel asked as the other three fallen angels nodded in agreement, as their curiosity got the better of them about Naruto's seemingly ever-growing abilities. It's called Susanoo. It is the third power of the Mangekyo, from what I learned in many of the scrolls within my Kamui dimension. Susanoo was awakened when you have awakened the power that resides in both of your Mangekyo. Although it in its second to lowest stage it allows me to summon a humanoid skeleton-like structure to fight on my behalf. Naruto explained. You have a technique named after the Shinto storm god. All the present fallen angel all asked in unison, as they were all sporting bewildered expressions. Naruto raised an eyebrow at this, as he never figured there was a deity named Susanoo. I have so much to learn about this world and it feels like I only seen the tip of the iceberg, as someone would say. Ah, that reminds me I should get into finding a powerful magical sword or forge one. I'll ask Azazel if he knew about any weapons I can use other than my kunai and shuriken, which are rapidly depleting. Naruto mumbled about in his own thoughts about things he needs to do. Not even after all this time, Naruto might be decent at kenjutsu, but a normal sword or weapon would do against supernatural beings. He needed a sword that contends with supernatural beings. Not to mention making certain shinobi gear is easy, but others like smoke bombs, kunai, shuriken, caltrops, poison, and several other things were it easy to find or make. Then again, I could just upgrade and add technology to my gear. However, I have to be meticulous about what I get. Guns aren't useful unless they are magically enhanced. Maybe some better body armor or something. So much to do. Naruto sighed as he stretched his body a bit. Well, Azazel OG-san, I was planning on visiting you before Valley showed up. Do I want to know if you could possibly tell me if there is anyone who could possibly make me more making certain shinobi gear. But now that you've told me about Susanoo being a deity, I'd also like to learn a bit about that if it's all right. Naruto asked as Azazel gestured for Naruto to follow him. Naruto complied as he began to follow the supposed reincarnation of his perverted godfather. As for getting more of your shinobi gear to be made won't be too much trouble. I know there are a few people throughout Japan, more specifically Kyoto, who I possibly could ask. Azazel scratched his chin in thought. Ever since Naruto asked for help in this refinement and improvement training he was going through, he took his shinobi skills and other forms of training very seriously. Although being an assassin for Grigori wasn't Naruto's idea, his skills in stealth, assassination, and espionage were better than anyone in Grigori. Did Naruto like it? No. Not really, but Naruto didn't seem to mind it too much after he gotten used to it. Especially after he found out there were a lot of corrupted figures in power that needed to be silenced without launching a full-out war. Assassination for Naruto became more of a way to minimize bloodshed and go after specific targets that needed to be removed. It was after Naruto took his job as a hitman assassin seriously that he became somewhat of a ghostly legend. In addition, Naruto went about this shouldering his Black Ops missions in total secret, with only Naruto and Azazel knowing who slit someone's throat in their sleep. It was after about 7 months ago he started doing this, and Naruto admired and respected the Anbu Black Ops from his world a lot more. Even though he hates killing and only will kill someone as a last resort. Some people didn't deserve a second chance, a bitter truth Naruto had to swallow, but he knew people like Kaguya, Lucifer, and other beings were so far gone that killing them would be an act of mercy to the innocents they would most likely kill later on. This is why he took his shinobi aspect of his abilities so seriously and trained more in taijutsu, bukijutsu, kenjutsu, stealth, ninjutsu, and other shinobi aspects. He even learned that totenjutsu, which renders him invisible to the naked eye. He also took to wearing darker colors and different styles of clothing while he was on these missions, allowing him to blend into his environment and aiding him in his missions instead of his kimonos or old shinobi jumpsuit. He also took a tactical approach than he is used to when it came to these missions, relying on his strategies, tactics, skills, and gear instead of his magic and chakra abilities to complete the mission. Moreover, his targets were both supernatural and non-supernatural Also, the less he left behind, the less anyone or anything can track him. And he went by the codename Cage Shadow during these missions or in his Black Ops persona. Thanks, Azazel OG-san, Naruto spoke in a cheerful tone as Azazel chuckled as he simply waved Naruto off. It's truly amazing how much Naruto changed, not only himself but those around him. These past 2 years were interesting. As for Susanoo no Makoto, he is the youngest of 3 siblings, Amaterasu Omikami being the oldest, and Tsukuyomi no Makoto being the second oldest of the Shinto Trinity. They are the children of Izanagi no Okami, who created him after he purified himself from Yomi. That is basically the Shinto's equivalent of the underworld. As to why he purified himself was because of his sister, wife Izanami no Mi. Koto had died in childbirth, giving birth to the fire god Kagu-Tsuchi. He was so distraught that he went down to Yomi in order to get his wife back. All she asked in return is, "Do you not gaze upon her until we got everything sorted out?" Azazel stopped as he glanced at Naruto, who had a frown on his face. "Let me guess, he looked at her?" Naruto asked in an annoyed tone. "You got that right, she only cared for one thing in return, and he couldn't even do that for her. Legend says that she looked like a burnt corpse, while some people who had seen her as of recently said she looks almost identical to how she looked when she was alive. So angered by this, she chased him out of Yomi, where he sealed off the entrance to Yomi. Out of anger, she said she would kill 1,000 people each day, while Izanagi SWO read to her that if that happened he would ensure that 1,000 reborn a day." Azazel finished. Naruto was deep in thought. That's wrong. How could he do that to her? What did she ever do to him? She deserved to be treated like that, maybe. Azazel snapped Naruto out of his train of thought. "I know you're thinking, Naruto, and I agree with you, but if you release her, you're going to have the Shinto faction after you." "Well, maybe not the Shinto faction, but Izanagi will want your head for what you've done," Azazel explained, hoping to get through Naruto as he knew the young blonde loved helping people. Despite his missions as a bodyguard and recon agent along with his off-the-record assassination missions only Naruto and Azazel knew about, Naruto still retained his bright personality unless he was in a serious fight or had a target to kill. Then it's like dealing with a different person altogether. "I know, Azazel OG-san, it's just not fair. What do you expect when you tell poor women who are abused? First, her husband Lucifer beat her to near death, and now you're telling me about Izanami. How am I supposed to react to all of this? Just stand here and take it. Whenever I see people in pain, it hurts me," Naruto yelled back at the lazy leader of the fallen angels. Azazel sighed as he ran his fingers through his hair. He knew Naruto was right, and he knew Naruto was strong enough to take care of himself. As long as he didn't run into any of the members of the top 10 strongest beings in the world. Naruto with his Sennin was able to easily match Satan-class beings, and from what Naruto told him about his Rakuto Sennin mode, it increased his power exponentially far beyond what normal Sennin mode was capable of. "Look, Naruto, I'm not telling you that you can't do that, I just want you to think before you act. Because if you start a war with Izanagi, it won't take long for his children, his faction, and Kyoto's Yukai faction to take notice. As powerful as you may be, there is no way you can take down an entire faction of deities. As for Lilith, I have no idea where she is. She disappeared after the Great War in between the 3 biblical factions. She abandoned Rizvam Levon Lu, Cypher, her bastard son, and disappeared. No one's seen her since," Azazel explained in a calm tone. Naruto had plenty of power to back up some of his cocky comments he makes in battle. Cocky to piss off his opponent. Not cocky as he knew he could win. "I'm sorry, Azazel OG-san, I didn't mean to explode like that," Naruto said in a soft tone. Azazel sighed before turning to Naruto. "Alright, show me your Susanoo for a bit. I'm curious to see what it looks like," Naruto instructed the Uzumaki. Naruto seemed curious but complied as he activated his Mangekyo, as a familiar cold pale blue aura surrounded him. Soon an ethereal rib cage formed around him, as a skull formed as well as 2 skeleton-like arms. The thing was frightening looking as I had glowing eye sockets, which glowed a ghostly purple. This thing was giving off a large amount of power equal to Naruto's Sennin mode. Azazel felt a single bead of sweat traveled down his forehead as he stared at this thing. Then he noticed Naruto, who seemed to be slightly uncomfortable or have an active Are you okay, Naruto? The Seraph Fallen asked his student friend. Naruto nodded. It's just a side effect from first awakening it, from what I read. In the scrolls, when a user first awakened the Susanoo, it causes immense pain. As well, it drains the user's chakra drastically. Although it's only temporary until the user can gain control over it. And it feels less like it's drawing my life away, Naruto said as he dispelled his Susanoo. So you said that was its second to lowest stage. How powerful is the Susanoo in its final state? Azazel asked, wondering how powerful it could potentially become. Moreover, how much potential Naruto had already was in itself was awe-inspiring. With other abilities from his world and the fact he can become one of the strongest magic users in existence. Naruto's potential is limitless, but Naruto had to train to his bone in order to get strong regardless of the subject at hand. Practicing and fine-tuning everything as he goes along, which at this rate will take a few more years. From what I heard from Tsunade Oba-chan, simply by unsheathing one of its massive blades can create such immense air pressure that it splits a mountain in half. I can only imagine how much devastation it could cause if the wielder truly wanted to. Naruto spoke as Azazel's skin tone became pale. From what I understand, the Susanoo in its final state, the complete body, Susanoo or perfect Susanoo, is said to have the power that rivals that of Kurama, the strongest out of the 9 Biju. Who could casually smash mountains and caused tidal waves with a lazy swing of his tail. He can also flatten a mountain ranges with his Bijudama. Naruto explained further as Azazel grew paler by the second. For the love of Ika, Naruto's home world is scary. Having humans that can level cities, travel at lightning speeds, and these Jinchuriki that can these Biju which are nigh impossible to kill from what I gather. No wonder what there are so few deities Naruto has mentioned he knew existed in his world. You have a bunch of supercharged demigods in these hidden villages. Except these shinobi and kunoichi are so much more dangerous than demigods and can use a lot more abilities than any demigod could possibly dream of. Naruto is a damn walking cheat sheet, especially with his damn cage bunshin that I wish I could use. Paperwork would be so much easier, Azazel thought with a serious expression as he simply stared at Naruto for a moment before laying his head on his desk. Naruto, bring me some sake please, the Aider of Grigori asked as Naruto merely raised an eyebrow at this request. Naruto could only admit one thing: Azazel could definitely drink. He had even Ero Sennin and Tsunade Ba-chan outclassed with how much liquor he can drink. Naruto had a strong desire to deny Azazel the heavenly liquid known as sake. Azazel then gave him the puppy dog eye jutsu, well more like the cross-eyed bulldog's face. Naruto couldn't help but sigh. All right, I'll get you your damn sake, Naruto said before throwing his hands up in the air in frustration. Azazel gave Naruto a grin at winning against Naruto for once. In all of their training matches, Naruto won the physical fights when it came to trading blows. But when it came to intelligence, Azazel had Naruto beat with strategies and tactics. A gap between them, however, was slowly closing with Naruto's improvements. Azazel simply chuckled as he watched Naruto storm out of his office. Things are never dull around you, Naruto. You remind of the child I was craving so deeply to have so long ago. This goes for Valley too, but I suppose he doesn't see me in that light. He is too wrapped up in getting revenge against his grandfather, Azazel chuckled to high himself before pulling out a familiar orange book. Azazel was soon brought out of his thought process as a black and blue magic circle appeared next to his ear. Hello, Crow, it's been quite a while, hasn't? A creepy, raspy, sinister tone spoke to Azazel. Azazel almost dropped his Ika upon hearing the voice. Hades, was all Azazel could say. Kaka, please tell me you haven't forgotten little old me. The Greek god of the dead and underworld answered. Hades would you want? Azazel said as he narrowed his eyes. He was no fool. Hades was one of the strongest beings in the world, ranked up in the top 10. Though he may be lower on the list of the top 10, he was still no weakling. Kaka, such hostility towards me, you're still not mad at me, are you? Crow. Hades chuckled while Azazel gritted his teeth. What is it you want? Azazel answered in a serious but hate-filled tone. He hates Hades for multiple reasons. However, the biggest reason was Hades was responsible for his wife's death. Many don't know this, but Azazel's wife was a Nekomata. Her name was Sakuhime. Her beauty knew no bounds, and she is the very reason Azazel fell from heaven while drawing blood from his so-called father. She had almost beaten the pervert out of Azazel. In addition, Azazel was willing to give up his perverted ways for her until that fateful night. Cerberus, the guardian of the underworld, Hades' domain, appeared before them and attacked them relentlessly. This wasn't any clone of Cerberus, this was the real deal, as the Hound itself had Satan-class power. It easily overpowered Azazel and killed Sakuhime, Shemhazai. And Barakiel managed to get there just in time to save Azazel but not his wife. It took decades for Azazel to return to his original self. He felt empty, hurt, longing for a purpose, and that's when he found Valley. Well, me nothing really, is just an associate of mine is interested in your newest member. Azazel's eyes widened before narrowing them dangerously. I will not give you Naruto. Azazel roared in anger. How dare this walking skeleton demand such a thing? Was taking his wife not enough? Did he want Naruto too? Understood me. It is not I who wants him, more or less. Someone he's eager to meet, Hades said cryptically. Azazel frowned before his eyes widened. Someone Naruto wants to meet, which meant it was either Lilith or Izanami. It couldn't be Izanami, as she already hated Hades, so it must be Lilith. However, why would she go to the realm of the dead? It's a Lilith, isn't it? Kakakaka. Why yes, it is dear little Lilith who wishes to meet this Naruto Uzumaki you were so fond of. Apparently, he has had dreams about her and she's serious to see him. Who knows, maybe she might claim him as her own. The Greek god spoke with a certain twisted grin. Azazel Street, oohed up, glaring his power, glaring at the magic circle. Just listening to Hades' laugh enraged him. I will not let you take Naruto, Azazel growled lowly. Kakakakaka. What could you possibly do? You can't even compare to a low god class being. Hell, you couldn't even compare to Lucifer, and he's weak, and so is his proud of the sun Risvam. You can't stop me, that boy will be mine, or rather Lilith's. Hades said with a laugh. Azazel clicked his tongue in anger, as he knew with the seal his father put on him, his power was greatly despite him being equal to Lucifer before his fall. After his own yen and drawing blood from his father for threatening the woman he loved. Azazel's so-called father sealed his powers away and banished him for falling for the seduction of sin known as lust. However, his father told all the other angels a different story rather than the truth. Azazel only knew why he really fell from grace. Azazel never hated his own father more than he did then. Moreover, when he saw the old man drawn his last breath, Azazel felt no remorse for his father dying. Since his fallen, Azazel had to adapt and change up everything about himself due to his lack of power. Relying on his skills and experience, and knowledge rather than his magic, which was on par with Michael, Gabriel, and Lucifer before everything went to shit. Azazel, a female voice came through the magic CIR. Klee is a change from black and blue to pink and black. Azazel's eyes widened. This was the voice of Lilith herself. Lilith. Yes, it is I, Azazel. You really shouldn't take anything that bag of bones says to heart. He's actually a big softy once you get to know him. In addition, as for the incident with your wife, that wasn't Hades' doing. Rather, it was the evil Norse god Loki, who was targeting someone else besides you. You happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Azazel remained silent as Lilith then spoke again. As for Naruto, I simply wish to meet with him and understand why he's so concerned about my well-being. The mother of all devils spoke with a voice filled with confusion and curiosity. You're not gonna do anything to him, are you? Azazel asked cautiously. Of course not. Would you take me for my two pieces of shit husbands or my bastard of a son? She replied with anger in her voice. I simply want to meet him, that is all. I have no intentions of doing anything to him. I will meet with him soon, whether it's in the physical world or the spiritual. Lilith said before her voice faded as the magic circle disappeared. Azazel simply sat there with a defeated look, as he didn't expect Lilith, let alone Hades, to use a commutation spell right in his own office. Should he tell Naruto about this? Lilith was an extremely powerful woman with nigh god class power, and would easily kill Azazel if she wanted to. She was even stronger than her second husband Lucifer, although this is only in demonic power, not physical strength. Lilith was the fourth strongest devil in existence and rightfully possibly the oldest if one were to search history of the devils. And with his damn father's seal on him, Azazel couldn't do much to break it without dying. And Naruto needed Azazel at full strength so he could truly train both Valley and Naruto. However, with the events happening in the past year and Valley becoming more and more antsy to fight stronger opponents so he could finally kill Rizvam, it was getting rough faster Azazel as a leader, and he started to truly feel his age. Not that he believed he lived too long. He just needed a break from all the drama and tension everything seemed to cause. This is why he enjoys being lazy and fishing so much. It was the only time he could relax and think things through. Azazel is brought out of his thought process when he-ard the door open, revealing Naruto holding a bottle of sake. I hope this is the kind you like because it's the only one I could find, Azazel Oji-san, Naruto said as Azazel didn't answer as he simply took the bottle and began to chug it. Naruto seemed confused as Azazel seemed distant and annoyed by something, he could tell by his negative emotions sensing. Azazel, is everything alright? Azazel shook his head knowing it's useless to lie to Naruto. The boy was a walking lie detector, so trying to fool him wouldn't be simple. Plus during these few years together Naruto and Azazel had grown a familiar bond with one another just like Azazel had one with Valley. However, Valley is stubborn. Azazel supposed it was time to put Valley in place and actually talk to him about his mother and father. And that the path he was walking wasn't the healthiest way to deal with his past. No, I'm not alright, we have a problem, Naruto. Well, you have a problem, Azazel simply said. Naruto seemed more confused. No one knew that Naruto worked as an assassin for his black ops, nor did anyone find traces of him in the so-called murder scenes. Not even one of his targets was aware he was there or got a look at his face. All of Naruto's missions were flawless and his books brought in a healthy amount of income each month, with a newer book coming out starring him and Penemu with different names, so no connection could be drawn between them in real life and in the book. So when Azazel said he had a problem, Naruto was generally confused what was wrong. Azazel simply sighed before glancing at Naruto. He had no idea how he would react to this news. Naruto, it seems you've caught the attention of two people, to incredibly powerful people to be exact. Azazel simply answered. Naruto rose an eyebrow in confusion. What do you mean, Azazel Oji-san? Who did I catch the attention of? As far as I know, no one's ever seen me when I'm out in the field, Naruto pointed out. There was no way someone saw him during his mission. Black Ops are just a simple recon mission. Azazel shook his head. That's not it, Naruto. You're far more skilled than any other assassin or recon operative. But it wasn't due to the fact you were seen on your missions. You've caught the attention of Hades, the Greek god of the dead, and Lilith, former wife of Adam and Lucifer, Azazel said before taking another swig of sake. Naruto simply stood there quiet. Did you say you Lilith was looking for me? Was all Naruto could say now. Azazel nodded. Apparently she has the ability to see into people's dreams, I assume, and you having dreams about her, something like that. She said she's going to meet with you sooner or later, whether it's in the physical world or the spiritual, which I can only imagine would be in your subconscious, Azazel said. Naruto simply nodded, not knowing what to say. Naruto, promise me this, do not trust anything either of those to say. Moreover, I mean that more towards Hades than Lilith. I know more about Lilith than I do about Hades because I used to spend time with her when she was in the Garden of Eden. She was a very kind and gentle woman, but I can only imagine after everything that's happened to her she has become more distant and dark, Azazel said seriously as Naruto simply nodded at Seraph's request. What about Hades? Naruto asked with the confused expression as he could feel Azazel filled with hatred and rage at the name. You don't have to answer me if you don't want to, Azazel Oji-san, I won't force you to. Anglesight, Naruto said quickly to ease the fallen's anger. He's responsible, or at least partially responsible, for my wife, so speak about it. Naruto, you really should be careful, you're starting to attract the attention of other beings of the supernatural world. While you're strong, you need to avoid drawing attention to yourself because you might associate yourself with the wrong person. Azazel clenched his fists tightly. He didn't want anything to happen at Naruto. Naruto was like the son he never had or should have had with Sakuhime. Naruto completely understood that Azazel wanted to be left alone for a little while. I understand, Azazel Oji-san, a seal later then. With that, Naruto Last Azazel's office as the Governor General of Angels signed before he broke down and started crying. With Naruto. Naruto sighed as he ran his fingers through his hair. Just great, now he has two powerful beings with their sights set on him. What the hell was he supposed to do now? He wasn't about to tell anyone, especially Penamu, even want her to get hurt because of him. Naruto continued down the hallway until he came to his room. Upon entering it, something was wrong. There was a dark presence in his room, but his room was completely empty, but the dark presence kept on getting stronger by the second. Naruto looked out of the corner his eye as he saw a mass of darkness appear above his bed. Although from the darkness emerged someone, causing Naruto's breathe the hitch. The woman gave Naruto a small smile as she noticed he tensed up. Calm yourself, Naruto, I am simply here to speak with you. Her voice was like silk, sending shivers down his spine. You're Lilith, aren't you? The woman nodded as she stood up from his bed, her cleavage bouncing within her black dress, which left little to the imagination. She walked towards Naruto, swaying her hips in a sexy manner. Her lips were pure black. I'm curious why you are so concerned about me. You practically called out to me in your dreams. We have never met, we have nothing in common and are not connected by any blood or family ties, so why? Why do you worry so much about me? She asked as she gently dragged her finger across Naruto's cheek. Naruto composed himself as he wanted to remain loyal to Penamu, but he feeling Lilith was giving off was strong. It was like a feeling that said fuck as hard and as long as you possibly can. Naruto managed to calm himself down so he could answer her. When Azazel OG-san told me about your story with both your husbands Adam and Lucifer, I couldn't help but feel bad for you. I've always been like this. I've always wondered help people even if I didn't know them. And I felt a strong desire to find you and help you in any way I possibly could. Naruto said. Lilith lightly hummed. Is that so? You wish to help me? If you really want to help me that badly, you're going to have to talk to your little girlfriend. Because I'm not one to make men cheat on their wives or girlfriends. It is a common thing throughout the supernatural world for men to take on multiple wives. If you manage to sort this out, simply speak my name 3 times and I shall appear before you. She spoke in a very calm but kind tone. Naruto found it hard to believe that this was Lilith, the mother of all devils. Naruto couldn't sense any negative emotions in her whatsoever, or at least directed towards him. Well, there might have been a little bit of lust, but that really wasn't really a negative emotion. Naruto simply raised an eyebrow in confusion. In addition, before he could even answer, she was gone. There was no trace of her left in the room. Naruto simply sighed, wondering how he was going to handle this whole thing. Could he really ask such a thing of Penamu? Would she accept this so-called orgy with the mother of devils, or will she deny the whole thing and keep him to herself? In all honesty, if Naruto were to choose, he would choose Penamu over Lilith any day of the week. However, his damn good guy complex gets in the way a lot of what morally is right in his feelings. In addition, this supernatural world is a lot rougher to deal with than being a shinobi back in the elemental nations. He supposes he would talk to his lover and get her opinion on the matter before giving Lilith an answer. He might not like it, but he always found a way to make everyone happy and get through the tough situations. However, should he really trust Lilith? Hell, even Azazel didn't trust her now, and it's hard to believe. Azazel was always so calm, laid back, and happy while drinking sake or teasing him or Valley. For Azazel to tell him to stay away from someone, they must have been bad nay. But Naruto couldn't see anything wrong with Lilith. Og, this whole damn thing is so goddamn frustrating. Naruto yelled out in frustration. This situation couldn't get any worse. Naruto then wrote a knock at the door in a familiar voice. Koi, are you in there? Naruto's eyes widened in fear. It appears he was wrong. His situation just got even worse. That wasn't a damn challenge. Naruto mentally yelled at the universe as a whole. Hold on a second, Haim. Would Naruto do? Would he tell her, only hide this information from her? Naruto shook his head quickly. He couldn't hide this from her. He wasn't one to lie. He sucked at lying, and plus the fact he had a hard enough time keeping his Black Ops assassination mission secret from her. He doesn't think keeping any more secrets would be healthily for him or her. Don't get Naruto wrong, he didn't enjoy killing or his assassination missions. However, he was the only one that took these responsibilities seriously. As such, while he didn't like it, He knew if he didn't do these assassination missions thousands of lives were at stake. Moreover, Naruto couldn't live with himself if he didn't do anything to help anyone. Regardless of the form of aid he was giving at the time. Naruto opened up the door and noticed Penemu had a concerned look on her face. "Koi, I found Azazel crying and he told me that Hades and Lilith were looking for you." Penemu's voice spoke softly and sounded like a melody to Naruto's ears. "What did I do to deserve such an amazing woman?" Naruto questioned himself. Naruto sighed, as this can be one hell of a long explanation. So Naruto began to explain to her that Lilith just visited him. To say Penemu was angry was an understatement. She was furious. Her fury turned into confusion and concern when Naruto told her that Lilith was interested in him for a romantic reason apparently. This made her lover uncomfortable, as he was extremely loving and kind to her but couldn't bear the thought of harming her. Therefore, when he had a conflict look, Penemu knew he wouldn't do anything to betray her, much less hurt her. However, Penemu did not like this not one bit, but Lilith wasn't the type of woman to be trifled with. Penemu could either attempt to fight Lilith and most likely be killed in the process or put up with her. In addition, dying wasn't a choice for her as she had something to live for now. Yui simply sighed before looking at Naruto. "Koi, I need some time to think about this," she said before kissing Naruto deeply and leaving to be in her own thoughts. It's not that she minded sharing Naruto as the problem. It was more about who it's the problem Penemu has. It could have been any other woman from another faction. However, Lilith found Naruto and wanted him, and Penemu knew why. Natural males of this world hardly marry for love in this world. Moreover, hardly any men from the devil faction were decent beings whom had no alternative motive in mind. Sirzex was one of the few decent devils that the fallen and angels could see as a great person. Penemu wasn't sure she could trust Lilith, let alone allow this relationship between her and Naruto. Naruto had a depressed look on his face. "Great, just great. Now I made to people I care about cry today. I'm a horrible person," Naruto thought to himself as he closed the door behind him. Today was just a completely crappy day. Collapsing onto his bed, Naruto sighed for the millionth time today. Feeling emotionally drained, Naruto knew this was the beginning of a long road ahead of him. It was so much easier for it being me and Penemu only. I suppose cheat with Okawa-chan when he had so many girls chasing him later in his life. Speaking of which, my hair is starting to look somewhat my dad's hair. Maybe that's why I'm one. Let me cut it. Naruto looked at his messy golden spiky locks that fell past his eyes. Penemu wouldn't let him cut his hair, and his style of clothing changed greatly since their relationship started. He started wearing more long coats, houris, and other types of clothing that reminds him of his father. Moreover, he has to admit his father had great taste in clothes. Naruto mostly wore kimonos when he is relaxing or doesn't have much to do. I truly wonder what the others think of me if they see the changes that happen to me. I am probably a different person to them. But I can't exactly say. I don't dislike the change. Naruto smiled a bit and picked himself up. I need to find Penemu first, Naruto said to himself. Not that Naruto minded all that much. He spent as much time as he could with his fallen lover, and she enjoyed every minute of their relationship. Even with the Lilith incident that happened, Naruto remained loyal and kept his word to Penemu. Much to the fallen angel's joy, as she knew she found the one for her. Azazel nearly blew a gasket when he heard the story for what reason Lilith wanted Naruto. Although Azazel eventually calmed down and told Naruto to proceed with extreme caution when around her if he ever did summon her. Although there was some good news that happened within the 2 months, Kurama finally woke up. Naruto remembers it as if it happened yesterday. Flashback. Naruto once again was trying to design a seal to separate Kurama from himself without killing him. You are getting me nowhere. I need to enter into the seal again and inspect it, Naruto mentally sighed in frustration. He had designed multiple seals while most of them were perfect for making Jinchuriki, none of them were good for the opposite. If I remember correctly, Obito was able to transfer Kurama into me without dying. However, that's the Biju Tenso no Jutsu, tailed beast transfer technique, but I only have limited information on it. It's not enough to go off it, Naruto thought as he looked at his room. once again messy and cluttered with Fuinjutsu seals and other scrolls containing knowledge of various shinobi arts. There is a reason why Fuinjutsu was the hardest art to learn. And this was why it required intelligence, patience, and a vast knowledge of all the different kanji and symbols. Naruto's intelligence had gained a massive boost since he arrived in this world. Though this is thanks to all the training both mental and physical he put himself through. Some of his intelligence, however, were thanks to the experiences he had in his past. Although Naruto wasn't the most patient person in the world, he had gotten a bit better with his patience. Mostly thanks, Naruto began learning all the different kanji and symbols required for Fuinjutsu. That's it, I'm going inside the seal, maybe I might find something that might help, Naruto thought to himself in an impatient and frustrated manner. Naruto set download's position before closing his eyes and taking a calming breath. He needed to enter into his mindscape as he needed to inspect the seal again. Mindscape. It had been nearly a year since he last entered, and he assumed Kurama was still asleep. He saw the large kitsune laying down on his side with his arms and legs spread out. Naruto snorted in amusement. Too bad he couldn't take a picture in here. It would be perfect blackmailing material. Naruto's smile turned into a frown as he stuck his hand out as a barrier appeared around Kurama. The barrier was cloaked in nearly infinite amount of different kanji and different symbols. Naruto's frown only increased. For the life of him he couldn't figure out how his two-san Namikaze Minato was capable of creating some like this. His father truly was a genius. Unfortunately, he didn't get that gen. All he got from his father was his looks. Naruto continued studying the seal, trying to memorize every symbol he saw. It was strange, it seemed as if all the symbols and kanji continuously changed. Naruto frowned, although his frown soon disappeared when he heard a groan. The barrier soon disappeared as Naruto noticed Kurama was finally waking up or simply making noise. "Kurama, are you awake?" Naruto simply shrugged his shoulders, assuming Kurama might have been just shifting in his sleep. "Naruto, what are you doing in here?" Kurama's deep demonic voice echoed throughout his mindscape. Naruto turned around. He saw the giant fox staring at him with a single eye opened. "Kurama, you're awake," Naruto cried with joy as he jumped at the giant fox, only for Kurama to swat him away with his tail. "I may have gotten a little bit soft, but there's no way I'm letting you jump on me." Kurama growled. "Ouch. Damn it, Kurama, what was that for?" Kurama simply grinned at his Jinchuriki partner. "For being a dumbass, that's why. Now, what are you fill me on what's been happening since I fell asleep?" Kurama asked as he shifted himself into a sitting position. Although from the look on Naruto's face he could tell was going to be a lot, so he prepared himself for anything. Naruto told Kurama the story of what happened since he fell asleep. Kurama wasn't all that surprised that he had been asleep for nearly 3 years. He was actually surprised that it was that short. Although what did surprise him was all the different factions within the supernatural world, and Naruto was part of the Grigori faction. In addition, the fact that Naruto could quite possibly live forever was basically an Anbu Black Ops, where his missions were classified, refined and improved himself over the course of the 3 years. Learning different fighting styles, learning and training in magic, learning more about the shinobi arts, and gaining enough power and skill to even match the first sage of 6 paths. In all, in 3 years Naruto went from a young teenager to a capable shinobi of holding his own against other S-class warriors. He also grew out his hair, his body became leaner and compact, while his muscles are chiseled and refined for his shinobi abilities. His eyes were a lot sharper and calmer, but still carried the same fire he had at the height of the 4th Shinobi War. In addition, Naruto stood at a respectful 6 feet 3 inches instead of his teenage form from long ago. Although Kurama was happy that he found love, although Kurama took it quite well, which surprised Naruto. Flashback Kai. In addition, with Kurama back, Naruto felt complete, although it turns out that the giant kitsune was actually a big furry pervert. As he yelled at Naruto to accept Lilith's offer, much to Naruto's dismay. However, Naruto didn't have time to worry about Lilith or Hades as Azazel called into his office as he had an important mission for Naruto. Naruto stopped at the door to Azazel's office and could only imagine what his father figure wanted him to do. Quickly sighing, Naruto pushed open the door, as he saw Azazel being smacked in the back of the head by Shemhazai while Barakiel simply chuckled. Azel OG-san, you said you had a mission for me. Damn it, Naruto, I told you to call me To-san. Azazel yelled comically only to receive another slap from Shemhazai. Azazel, how many times have I told you to act your age? Shemhazai scolded his perverted lazy leader. Azazel grumbled under his breath before clearing his throat. Yes, Naruto, the mission I have for you is to go to the familiar forest and get you a familiar. Shemhazai will be accompanying you to the familiar forest. Azazel gestured towards his second-in-command who nearly fell over. What, you can't be serious, Azazel, the familiar forest is in the devil's territory. Are you trying to start a war? Or worse, get Naruto captured and turned into some greedy devil slave? Shemhazai yelled while Barakiel's facial features hardened as he nodded. And it's a good idea for him to get a familiar someone to help them whatever he is on a mission. Or to keep him company when Penemu or any of us are too busy. Everyone deadpanned at EV. Everyone present in the room thought in unison. Azazel felt like that slapped him the face but simply shrugged it off. Don't worry, they will be fine, Azazel spoke in a carefree tone. This is an unwise decision, Azazel. You very well could start a war if they get caught, Barakiel advised. Naruto is a former shinobi from another world that can bypass even as if he was trying hard enough, and Shemhaz I knows enough about the devils and familiar forest not only thanks to our spies but his wife as well, Azazel pointed out while Naruto and Shemhazai could only agree with what Azazel said. Barakiel, however, wasn't buying it yet, and Kurama, who was inside Naruto, merely stayed silent through this exchange. Kurama only knew a brief summary of everything that was happening in this world and what Naruto did during his stay here. So these are fallen angels. They don't feel evil. Then again, from Naruto's words, looks can be deceiving, especially in this world, Kurama thought to himself, known the basic knowledge of the factions that make up the biblical faction. Shemhazai was now glaring at his leader. We're not going to Azazel, and that's final, Shemhazai said in a no room for argument tone. Azazel simply smirked as Naruto felt a chill go down his spine, and could hear Kurama yelling at him, telling him to move. But that's where you're wrong, Shemhazai, you are going right now. Azazel chuckled, in an insane tone as he snapped his fingers. Without warning, a magic circle appeared under Naruto and Shemhazai as they were quickly teleported away. Azazel, you fuck! Naruto began to yell before he was teleported away. Azazel had a satisfied smirk on his face as he leaned back in his chair only to get punched by Barakiel. Ow, what the hell is that for? Azazel cried with the comical bump on the side of his head. For being a complete idiot, Azazel. You had better hope they get back here in one piece. Because if they don't, it's just me, but Penemu will have a field day with you, Barakiel said before leaving as Azazel went pale white at the thought of a pissed off Penemu. Familiar forest. King asshole. Naruto finished yelling as he and Shemhazai both appeared in the middle of the familiar forest. Damn that Azazel. The vice governor general uttered out a curse at the current governor general. Naruto looked around at the forest. It is a thick, creepy forest. Looking around, Naruto noticed that the full moon was out, and it wasn't a new color either. Ever since Otsutsuki Kagaya, Naruto had been wary of the full moon, as sometimes he would have nightmares about her coming back and killing everyone he cared about. Naruto snapped out of his train of thought when he heard Shemhazai calling out to him. Naruto, when this is over with, I want to go back so I can punish that bastard Azazel. Sure thing, Hazai. Let's make this quick and leave. Although I don't know what types of familiars live in this forest to get any ideas. Well, depends on what kind of familiar you are looking for. A strong one, fast one, a small one, a cute one, poisonous one, and many others. Although in my opinion, you should probably go for the strongest you can possibly get. I believe that is Tiamat, the Chaos Karma Dragon. She's the strongest out of the Godai Ryuo, 5 great dragon kings. Shemhazai offered. How strong is Tiamat? Shemhazai gave Naruto a smirk. Tiamat is said to have Satan class power. But when enraged, her power is said to reach heavenly dragon class. So I believe she is the perfect fit for you. She's strong, powerful, and loyal. Moreover, she probably prefers being your familiar because you're not a devil or any supernatural being. And the surefire way to know when you're near her is that there is a cold atmosphere that radiates from her beauty. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Ow, when he noticed blush on Shemhazai's face. That's weird, why's he blushing? Naruto thought. Probably because she is a beautiful kid. I suggest you go with that, the more powerful allies. You would be better off with someone powerful backing you, Kurama replied as Naruto given Kurama a mental nod. So Hazai, where are we going to start looking? Shemhazai simply took to the air as Naruto quickly used his gravity magic to liberate himself from the ground, allowing him to fly. Simply follow me, I believe her home is this way, Shemhazai answered. Around the forest for what seemed to be hours to end. Naruto, at least until they came upon a large cave. I believe Tiamat lives in there, just be careful when you go in there. She might be in her human form or her dragon form, Shemhazai said before pushing Naruto into the cave. Ow! Naruto groaned as he pushed himself up and looked around, as it was dark. Naruto snapped his fingers as a small blue flame appeared on the tip of his thumb. This cave is really deep, I wonder how far it goes, Naruto thought as he looked at the ground and he noticed cracks filled with what seemed to be steaming water and beautiful blue sapphires. Naruto reached down and pulled out a sapphire. It was a legitimate gem. It was beautiful, so Naruto quickly snatched a few before sending them to his Kamui dimension for Penemu. Naruto then heard the noise of running water. Not like in a bathtub, more of a stream. Naruto then came to an open area that seemed to be a large pool of waist-deep steaming water. The steam was rising from the water, which made it hard for Naruto to see, but thankfully he had his Sharingan active. He saw a figure in the steam that was radiating up pale blue aura. Naruto squinted as he focused on the figure. Naruto's eyes widened as the figure became more visible. His jaw dropped. When Naruto saw her, was the embodiment of beauty itself. What is with the women of this world? They all look like goddesses of beauty. Drop dead sexy too, Naruto thought as Kurama simply smirked at the kid's distress. She was humming a light tone as she seemed to be bathing. She had not even noticed Naruto's presence yet, which he was thankful for. Althaug. Spying on someone was not a good thing, and karma was simply not on his side. As he slipped on the wet stone floor and whacked the back of his head on the ground. Ah! Naruto yelped in pain. Openin. Up his teary eyes, he was greeted by a rather angry-looking Tiamat. Naruto raised his hands up in surrender. Sorry, I slipped. I didn't mean to interrupt you, madam. I was brought here by a friend and he pushed me in this cave, Naruto said with a nervous laugh, hoping not to piss off the goddess of a woman staring him down. Tiamat reached out and grabbed Naruto by the front of his kimono, and she effortlessly lifted him off the ground. Is that so, little human, and why are you here? Answer now and I might let you live. Tiamat hissed in an annoyed tone. Naruto had a nervous expression on his face as he gulped. I was hoping maybe you'd be my familiar. Naruto chuckled nervously. You foo. Tiamat giggled in amusement. Her giggle sounded like a melody. Naruto found himself blushing. Just listening to her giggle sounded heavenly to the young blonde. What makes you think I would agree to be your familiar, boy? I heard that you're not a fan of being a familiar for devils or other supernatural beings. In addition, I was sent here to get a familiar. Someone I know simply told me you were the most powerful one. When you're calm and content you have Satan-class power, and when you're angry you have Heavenly Dragon-class power. Naruto said, hoping that he could sway her with just words alone. Somehow Naruto knew that wouldn't work, but he had to at least try. Tiamat's eyes widened HTLY as she studied Naruto closely, taking in his scent. You've reeked of kitsune and fallen angel, boy. Are you some kind of man whore? Tiamat asked bluntly, which made Naruto feel insulted. No, I'm not a man whore. My girlfriend happens to be a fallen angel and my best friend happens to be a kitsune. Naruto responded a little harshly. What the fuck is a kitsune? Kurama asked before Naruto realized Kurama didn't know about yokai of this world. A Japanese mythical creature that is known for its mischief, and some can even have multiple tails like you. Or detail later, Kurama. Naruto meant a LLY replied to the Biju, who nodded in acceptance. Kurama had to digest a lot of information since he woke up. So far, Kurama just merely kept watching on what Naruto did day in and day out. Training and his shinobi abilities, skills and magic took most of his time if he wasn't spending time with Penemu. Tiamat seemed to grin. You got some fight in you, I like that. Despite you being human, you're cool. ite powerful, far stronger than any human I've ever met. But that's not enough for me to become your familiar, you have to show me. Tiamat said in a melody-like tone. Naruto raised an eyebrow as he became more curious. What do you mean? The former shinobi asked in an even tone. Tiamat's grin turned bloodthirsty. These 2 ways you could prove to me that you're worthy of being my master. You can either defeat me in physical combat or fuck into submission. It's your choice, but I'm not going down willingly. Tiamat said as she dropped Naruto to the ground. Naruto quickly got himself up as he stared at Tiamat before sighing. Not in here, you idiot. This cave is special. Tiamat yelled at him. Naruto's eyes widened as he watched Tiamat snap her fingers as a blue secretary lawyer-like suit materialized on her. She was wearing a blue jacket with white lines going through it and blue dress pants. She was also wearing a pink-collared shirt with the first 3 to 4 buttons undone, giving Naruto a perfect view of her massive cleavage. She was also wearing high-heel boots that were hidden under her pants. Naruto gasped at Tiamat. How could she possibly know that he had a thing for sexy secretaries? Tiamat giggled at his expression before she walked forward, swaying her hips. Putting her hand on both of his cheeks before pulling him towards her, she slammed her lips right into his. Naruto's only reaction was his eyes widening in shock and anger. Tiamat pulled back from the kiss with a smirk. So you to have a thing for sexy secretaries based on your reaction. Then I guess it's a good thing that I dress like this quite often. She giggled again as Naruto glared at her despite the blush on his cheeks. Now shall we begin? If you win I will become your familiar, but if I win... She left off, as Naruto felt a chill go down his back. You're going to be my personal little toy for the rest of your days. She giggled as Naruto scowled at her. Without warning, Tiamat blurred forward, kicking Naruto in the stomach and sending him flying back through the cave. Naruto came to a full skidding stop, as his eyes widened as Tiamat came down with a serious kick aimed for his stomach. Naruto quick L.Y. sidestepped out of the way as he began to run out of the cave. Oh no you don't, Tiamat howled as she chased after him. Kid, what are you doing? Kurama asked the shinobi, who merely kept moving at impressive speeds. Drawing her outside so I'm not limited to the confined space of the cave. Some of my spells require a wide open space to be effective, was Naruto's quick reply as he threw a couple of smoke bombs down to case Tiamat to lose sight of him for a moment. Outside the cave, Shemhazai sat on a rock close to the cave playing Angry Birds on his iPhone when he saw Naruto coming running out with a distressed look on his face. Hey, Naruto, are you okay? Shemhazai asked Naruto, who glared at him heatedly. No, I'm not. I got freaking horny dragon chasing after me. And if I don't defeat her in combat I'm going to become her personal boy toy. Naruto yelled at Shemhazai, who nearly dropped his phone in shock. A second later Tiamat came running out of the cave. You're gonna regret leaving the cave, boy. She yelled as she took to the air. Naruto made a familiar cross-hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto yelled as he summoned 10 clones. Tiamat's eyes widened in surprise before. Rishi licked her lips with lust in her eyes. You foo. My aren't you just full of surprises? Naruto shivered at her tone as she spat out a gust of icy wind at Naruto in his clones. Naruto's clones all summoned their blue flames, which fired at Tiamat ice breath. The initial contact formed a thick cloud of steam, blinding everyone in the vicinity. Guys, I need you to buy me some time, I'm going to enter into Senin mode. Naruto said to his clone. To all nodded as he sat down in the lotus position and began to draw in nature energy. No sooner did he do that, hundreds of tiny ice shards needles rained down from the sky, not only hitting all of Naruto's clones but also forcing him to dodge. Damn, I was expecting some more time to draw in natural energy. So ice is her main element, or does she have more tricks up her sleeve? Naruto cursed his luck. Naruto studied Tiamat's form, wondering if she had more elements she can manipulate other than ice. Or was ice her only elemental manipulation she could use? No, that doesn't make any sense to have such a limited kill set. Why would someone powerful as her only have one element she could use? She must have more skills in other fields of magic, but which ones? Naruto thought as he tried to formulate a plan in his mind. Naruto waved his hands using his wind magic to blow away all of the steam. He saw Tiamat up in the sky staring down at him with a small smile. Impressive, you can use magic quite well, boy, Tiamat said in a somewhat praising voice. She was interested in his abilities so far. A tick mark formed on Naruto's forehead. My name is not boy. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto yelled in frustration as Tiamat's smile turned into a grin. It seems I'm going to have to discipline you after I win, she said as she dive-bombed at Naruto. Naruto couldn't help but shiver at the word discipline. She obviously wasn't giving him enough time to utilize Senjutsu, so he'd go a different route. Tiamat stared at Naruto's eyes as they turned from blue to crimson red with a strange pinwheel-like shape in place of his pupils. Upon hitting her target, the ground exploded from the force, causing dust and debris to fly into the air. Tiamat then jumped back up into the sky using her wings to blow away the dust. Much to her surprise, though Naruto was nowhere to be seen, she couldn't reduce someone to dust with just a simple dive bomb. Maybe reduce them to blood splatter. She was in her dragon form, but not her human form. She felt concern building up in her chest. Did she really just kill him? You shouldn't rush in and attack your opponent so rashly. It could be the end of you one of these days. Naruto's voice echoed as he literally rose from the ground, well more like surface through the ground as Tiamat's eyes widened before narrowing. Intangibility, of very rare and annoying ability you have, Naruto-kun, the Chaos Karma Dragon thought herself. Naruto kept his Mangekyo active just in case he would need to pull out the Susanoo. Although he couldn't use anything above the skeleton form at the moment. Maybe he would need to borrow a little bit of Kurama's chakra if things get hairy. Unless I don't summon the full SKE. Letten and I summon just the arms instead. Like Madara did in the 4th Shinobi War. It wouldn't drain as much chakra and I will still have another pair of hands to attack and defend, Naruto thought as Kurama's eyes widened a bit. How much did you really change, Naruto? Kurama thought to himself. I'm curious, Tiamat-chan, why you so insistent on me becoming your toy? Naruto asked, trying to buy himself some more time. If he could distract her long enough, maybe he could win this. Tiamat crossed her arms underneath her large bust. Am I entitled not to have a lover? Unfortunately, I'm not that in touched with romance, and this seemed like the easiest way to find what love truly is. Tiamat said, feeling no reason to lie to Naruto. Naruto sighed. He felt sad for Tiamat. She didn't know what love was. Just great, now he had another woman he needed to help. First Lilith, now Tiamat. Granted, Lilith wasn't forceful at all, and she even visited Naruto in his dreams sometimes just to talk to him. Tiamat, on the other hand, seemed a little bit forceful, as she was eager to find out what love was. Just great. What am I, some kind of sexually frustrated women? I am not an empath. I can only sense negative emotions, people. Naruto mentally whined as Kurama chuckled at him. Naruto stared up at Tiamat. Tiamat-chan, that's not how love works at all. Love requires both sides to put in equal amounts of work. You can't simply force love. That is something else entirely different. Love is a powerful force. I guess the best way I can explain it is when you have strong feelings for someone, and the why have the same exact feelings towards you. It's a natural feeling that happens, Naruto tried to explain. Keyword tried. Tiamat stared at Naruto with a look of pure surprise. So do you have these feelings towards me? Tiamat asked with small traces of hope in her tone. Naruto caught. Naruto paused for a moment to think about his words. I'm not lying when I say you're beautiful. No, you're drop-dead gorgeous, Tiamat-chan. Do I have feelings toward you? Yeah, I guess I do. Penamu-chan has already told me that she's fine with sharing me as long as I treat everyone equally. So what I'm saying is I would love to get to know you. But not as Tiamat the Dragon King, but as you, the normal Tiamat that no one ever sees. Naruto explains with a careful tone, watching what he says. Tiamat smiles at this. I'm glad that you have a degree of feelings towards me, Naruto-kun. But this doesn't mean I will simply give up. You have to prove to me that you're worthy. Tiamat roared with a new desire in mind to become Naruto's mate. Naruto smiled as he got into a defensive fighting stance. I wouldn't expect you to give up willingly, Tiamat-chan. But the real fight begins now. Naruto declared while Shemhazai stood off on the sidelines with his bottom jaw on the ground. This kid just won someone over with just words. Where the fuck was he when we were all pure angels? Shemhazai thought in completely disbelief. Everything was dead quiet. as Naruto stared straight into Tiamat's eyes. Naruto took and edged his foot forward, shifting the core of his body weight closer to the ground. A bead of sweat traveled down Shemhazai's forehead as he could feel the power coming off both Naruto and Tiamat. He's really going to fight her. Sure, he defeated Azazel and Valley, but can you really take on an opponent like Tiamat? The Vice-Governor General thought. Tiamat flared her aura in a challenging way, which resembled cerulean blue flames, that gave off a cold atmosphere with sparks of blue electricity dancing around her form. Naruto, ever since he gained access to magical power, he has been able to form in aura as well, Naruto's aura, which had 2 layers to his aura. The outer layer resembled a pale blue flaming mist, while the secondary or inner layer was a brilliant golden fiery mist. Within an instant, both fighters charged at each other at full speed as they both blur out of existence. As the two met and clashed, creating a powerful shockwave, sending dirt and debris flying in every direction. Naruto jumped back as Tiamat rushed towards him and immediately throwing punches and kicks. Naruto blocked and dodged with some difficulty. Naruto delivered a strong punch to Tiamat's face, which Tiamat countered with a kick to Naruto's stomach. The powerful strike caused the blonde to roll away. Naruto quickly regained his footing as Tiamat came down from the sky with the power stomp. Naruto jumped back as the stomp shattered the ground. Naruto jumped towards Tiamat, delivering a kick meant for her head, which the Chaos Karma Dragon blocked with her hand. Naruto pulled out a kunai, twirling it around his fingers before Tiamat blocked with an ice dagger. Naruto clashed with Tiamat as he enhanced his kunai with wind chakra, which shattered Tiamat's ice dagger. In addition, with a swift strike, Naruto cut Tiamat across her cheek. Tiamat retaliated by punching Naruto in the stomach, causing the blonde to hunch over in pain. Tiamat then grabbed Naruto by the back of his head before ramming her knee into his face, causing the blonde to take a few steps back. The gash on Tiamat's face closed up instantly as she saw a sphere of spiraling energy in Naruto's hand. With a wave of her hand, she completely froze Naruto in place, although upon closer inspection there is nothing more than a cloud of smoke frozen in that ice. Tiamat's eyes widened as Naruto came down with a Rasengan barrage. Tiamat avoided the barrage by running, only to be stopped by 3 other clones. The clones and Tiamat surrounded, who had used all of her skills to avoid their deadly strikes. Tiamat was beginning to feel a little bit overwhelmed as she delivered powerful punches and kicks, trying to gain some distance, although the clones did not let up. Tiamat growled as pale blue electricity began to dance around her body. The eyes of Naruto and his clones all widened as they jumped back. However, it was too late as Tiamat unleashed 360-degree waves of electricity, not only dispelling all of Naruto's clones but also sending the real Naruto flying back. Naruto pushed himself up as he saw Tiamat inhale a large amount of air before exhaling a huge wave of blue fire. Naruto quickly summoned forth a wall of earth thanks to his elemental magic. The wall of earth began to not only fall apart but also melt at the heat from Tiamat's flames. The flames soon broke through the wall of earth. Naruto's Mangekyo burst into life as he summoned forth his ethereal rib cage. Tiamat watched from afar, curious to see what Naruto was going to do. As soon as the smoke disappeared, she noticed an ethereal skeleton-like structure staring at her. Tiamat felt a small chill go down her spine, but not enough to make her afraid, but just enough to put her on edge. The Susanoo's bony fist rushed towards Tiamat, who easily dodged it. Naruto then summoned forth an ethereal blade, attempting to attack Tiamat with it. You foo. You'll never hit me with something as bulky and slow as that, Naruto-kun. Tiamat giggled while Naruto narrowed his eyes. The Susanoo was known as the ultimate offense and defense of the Uchiha. But Naruto never knew it was so slow. On the other hand, maybe it was because he wasn't completely used to the Susanoo. By any rate, it was only going to drain his chakra at this point, so as no point in keeping it active until he gained more experience with it. The Susanoo wasn't fast enough to make a difference against Tiamat, who was definitely faster than Azazel or Valley, so there was only one option left. Oi Kurama, can I borrow some of your chakra? Naruto asked the lazy fox, who grinned in a savage manner. About damn time, I've been itching for a fight. So what he want to do? The initial state, version 1 state. Version 2 state, or Biju mode? Kurama asked with excitement in his voice. Naruto thought for a second before answering. Version 1 state with 6 tails should do it, I'm no. Chi looking to kill her just to defeat her, Naruto answered. Tiamat watched curiously, as Naruto's Susanoo faded away. However, what caught her attention the most was a boiling aura spilling out of his body. It soon took the shape of a fox with 6 tails swaying behind him. But what really captivated Tiamat was his whisker marks became more feral, his hands became clawed, he grew fangs and his eyes were now red with slitted pupils. Shemhazai stared at Naruto up your fear on his face. The power Naruto was giving off was god-class power. Just how much power does Naruto actually have? The leader of the fallen angels shouted in thought. Tiamat gave a satisfied grin. Her soon-to-be mate is definitely strong. She was enjoying this battle. Oh, Naruto-kun, you're stronger than I originally thought. Your power is truly amazing, she thought herself. Tiamat then unleashed a powerful gust of icy wind at Naruto, who in response released a powerful primal roar. The roar was so strong that it destroyed Tiamat's ice breath. Tiamat's eyes widened in surprise, as Naruto destroyed her ice attack with ease. Naruto then vanished from sight before crashing right into Tiamat, causing her to fly backward. The strongest of the Godai Ryuo groaned as she hit the ground hard, pushing herself off the dirt-only chakra arm. Naruto and then grabbed her with the same chakra arm before dragging her back towards him. Rearing his fist back, he punched Tiamat in the stomach, sending her flying through multiple trees. Naruto slowly advanced towards Tiamat, not wanting to hurt her anymore. Tiamat-chan, I don't want to hurt you anymore, so please, but in this battle. Tiamat, who was laying on the ground in pain, stared up at Naruto, her eyes glaring into his. No one had ever been capable of doing this to her. Her body was aching, her clothes were ruined. Tiamat groaned as she pushed herself up into a standing position before spitting out a glob of blood. What makes you think I'll just simply give up? It's not the dragon way. I may like you, but I'm not going to simply give up even for you. You're going to have to beat me into unconsciousness if you want to win. Tiamat yelled. Naruto sighed as he opened up his Han, deforming on one of his magic circles that were a grayish color instead of the norm. Please forgive me for this, Tiamat-chan. Shinra Tensei, almighty push. Naruto yelled as the spell unleashed an SLA-MMED into Tiamat, which expanded the farther it traveled. All dirt, rocks, trees, and every living thing were slammed with a powerful push of gravity so strong it nearly ripped apart anything that stood in its path. As soon as the dust and dirt settled, Tiamat laid on the ground unconscious. Naruto gave a sad sigh as he quickly scooped her up into his arms. Kid, was that a Rinnegan technique you just used? What exactly was that? Kurama asked someone, surprised at the power of spell Naruto just used. That was a recreated version of the Shinra Tensei from Outworld. Magic allowed for a lot of things, but instead of having to have the Rinnegan to manipulate gravity, I can use magic. I can do more than push or pull things too. I can greatly enhance the force of my punches when I combine Chakra enhancement technique and my gravity magic, Naruto replied to Kurama, who jaw dropped. I do not combine my chakra and magical techniques together since I do not know the limit of the damage they can cause. My magic is a makeup for my lack in ninjutsu abilities. However, I still use my ninjutsu abilities far more often, as magic can't be used in the same manner as chakra. It's quite an anyonk. Really? Naruto mental said as he relaxed a bit and his power output for both chakra and magic went down. Naruto then turned around to face the now god-smacked Shemhazai, who was standing there with a look of absolute disbelief. Naruto had just beaten the strongest of the Godai Ryuo, with some unknown power. Naruto walked over to the co-leader of the Grigori faction, who was still in awe at Naruto power. Quickly using his Kamui, time and space bent to his will, Naruto took himself, Tiamat, and Shemhazai back to Grigori while leaving a war zone behind. It was an absolute shitfest the moment Naruto appeared within unconscious Tiamat in his arms, and a very frightened Shemhazai standing next to him. In addition, all of the leaders of Grigori were currently present in Azazel's office when Naruto appeared via Kamui. Shemhazai began to leave them the tale of how Naruto overpowered and defeated Tiamat on his own, and that he used the dark sinister power that made the original Lucifer seem like an innocent puppy dog. The worst part of it all was that bastard Azazel had the nerve to look shocked. He already knew about Kurama, as Naruto explained this to him. This is where Naruto spilled the beans. That he was not only Azazel's bodyguard but recon operative as well. Sneaking into a hostile environment that could take his life at any moment without any warning or notice. Penemu had a look of absolute horror on her face, which Naruto pulled her into a hug and told her he was sorry for worrying her so much. As he simply disappears sometimes and he wouldn't come back for days at a time. Naruto knew he couldn't let anyone know he acts as an assassin for the faction he was currently allied with. Naruto wasn't proud of killing people, but if it kept his loved ones safe and prevented countless bloodshed, he could and would bear the burden that comes with his role. Kokubile demanded that Naruto should be kicked out of Grigori, which was ignored by the rest of the leaders as they all liked Naruto to some degree. It wasn't long before Tiamat awoke from her dirt nap, and was surrounded by all of the leaders of Grigori along with Naruto. Kokubile attempted to attack Tiamat but got blasted by Naruto's gravitational magic sending him flying out of Azazel's office. Tiamat then became Naruto's familiar, and she demanded to meet Naruto's girlfriend who much to Tiamat's surprise was Penemu. E-Dragon and Fallen Angel had a small talk about Naruto and how they felt, and in the end, they agreed to share him much to Naruto's dismay. Worried if he hurt them he could never live with himself. It was 6 months ago and now Naruto was standing in front of Azazel with a look of annoyance. Why was Naruto so annoyed? Well, because Azazel had a mission for him, in a very important mission. At least, that is what the older Fallen said when Azazel mentioned his codename. Naruto, I need you to go to Kuo for me. You see, the meeting for the 3 biblical factions to be happening in 3 months. Therefore, I want you to go there and make sure nothing bad happens. As I sent Rainier and her team there to keep an eye on a boy named Hyodo Issei. I believe he's the current holder of a Longinus CL's sacred gear, more specifically the boosted gear. Azazel spoke in a serious tone. Naruto narrowed his eyes as he sighed in frustration. Fine, I'll go, but I'm not going to school, do you understand me, Azazel? Is there anything else I should know about before I leave? The shinobi asked, wondering why Azazel mentioned his code name. Azazel, while playing with his Rubik's Cube, answered, yes, the N of Kuo is owned by the younger sisters of the current Lucifer and Leviathan. Therefore, it's Searzex and Seraphal, younger siblings, I am talking about. I suggest you be wary around them, as they may try to get you into their peerage. Also, keep your presence hidden from the other factions unless I ask you to reveal who you really are. Keep your identity as Kage, a guarded secret. We can't let the other factions know about you just yet, Azazel said in a semi-serious voice. His words carried a clear warning as well. Naruto simply snorted in amusement but understood the weight of Azazel's words. Quote, do you honestly think they'd be capable of turning me into a devil? I would become the stray just like Kuroka. The only difference is I wouldn't kill anyone and I won't serve or follow just anyone. Plus, I have my own dreams and goals to achieve now thanks to you and the others, Naruto spoke with a smirk while Azazel chuckled. That sounds exactly like you, Naruto, just be careful. I believe Kokubile might be planning something. Moreover, if he becomes too great of a threat, you have your orders, Kage, Azazel said as Naruto nodded while his sapphire blue orbs took on an icy blue color void of emotion. Naruto then scratched his chin before snapping his fingers. I got the perfect undercover ploy, a runner ramen shop. Naruto declared with fire in his eyes as Azazel's sweat dropped. What is it with this kid in ramen? I've never seen anyone eat more often than him and still remain alive. Azazel thought to himself, even though Naruto wasn't a kid and actually 20 years old while the other were several hundred if not a couple thousand years old. Yeah, sure, you can do that, but I get to eat free, Azazel said with a smirk. Naruto simply shrugged. He didn't care if Azazel ate for free, Azazel W. as going to be the one paying for everything anyways. Sure, I don't care if you eat free, but you're going to be the one paying for everything else anyways. Naruto chuckled as Azazel shrugged it off. So am I going alone, or is Penemu-chan and Tiamat-chan coming with me? The Uzumaki asked, wanting to know how to plan things out. Unfortunately, Penemu is needed here as she is very important and can't know about your Black Ops missions. While Tiamat can go too, as she's still the assistant of the current Beelzebub. But other than that, she should probably end up going with you. Azazel said, owing it was important Naruto's identity as Kage is never found. Naruto almost forgot that Tiamat worked for the current Beelzebub, more specifically Ajuka Beelzebub, who was one of the 5 super devils. In addition, he is said to be just as strong as Sears's Lucifer, as they were rumors that Sears's had the power to match those of the top 10 strongest beings. As the 5 super devils, they went in this order of strength. Sears's and Ajuka are tied in first place, Rizvam took second place, Lilith took third place, and Seraphal took fourth place. Speaking of which, who was the 5th so-called super devil again? Naruto thought. Naruto can only imagine what would happen once his identity was revealed to the world, that there is a human with the power to match the gods. Well, it's not like I can't handle it. My assassination missions might take a nosedive though due to the increase of eyes on me, Naruto thought as he quickly made his way out. Time skip. Town of Kuo. Naruto yawned as he woke up and looked at his alarm, which read 10 o'clock in the morning. Naruto groaned as he lay back down in his bed. Glancing to his left, he saw Tiamat cuddled up against him using his chest as a pillow. She was sleeping soundly with a peaceful smile on her face, and Naruto was thankful that Ajuka only needed her during rated game matches. And other than that, Tiamat was free to do whatever she wanted. Although she nearly blew a gasket when Naruto told her about his current target, Issei, the current holder of D-Drag, the Security Red Dragon Emperor. She told Naruto the reason why she hated him so much was that D-Drag stole her treasure, which could increase the dragon's power exponentially. However, because D-Drag was fighting against his counterpart Albion, the Hakuryuko White Dragon Emperor, it was destroyed, and Tiamat was very angry, not just because D-Drag stole her treasure but that it destroyed. Therefore, Naruto, being the nice man he was, attempted to make her new treasure with Onmyoten Yin-Yang release. Tiamat was happy that Naruto tried to help her, but she explained to him that the treasure couldn't simply be created through Naruto's methods. It had to be created by a dragon of immense power. So Naruto then placed 2 Fuinjutsu on the gems. The first seal drew in and purified nature energy, and with the aid of Azazel, Tiamat, and Fafnir, the second seal converted that nature energy into dragon aura, which this meant Azazel could now create dragon-based artificial sacred gears, which Azazel made one for Naruto. Naruto's artificial sacred gear was called Ryu-O no Sennin, Dragon King Sage, which took the shape of a cerulean blue and gold tanto, with a beautiful purple gem embedded at the end of the handle. Tiamat had left a small portion of her dragon aura in the gem. So Naruto's scale mail would resemble that of Tiamat if she was ever sealed in a sacred gear. The breakthrough that Naruto and Azazel pulled off with the aid of their dragons will bring new light to the supernatural world. And because of this, Azazel no longer had to keep Fafnir sealed in his artificial sacred gear Downfall Dragon Spear. Naruto smiled as he gently began to shake Tiamat. "Tia-chan, come on, it's time to get up," Naruto said as he heard our grumble. A few more minutes. Naruto cracked his fingers, reached under his pillow, and pulled a feather as a sickly sweet grin appeared on his face. "All right, Tia-chan, you asked for it." Naruto chuckled out darkly as he began to tickle Tiamat, who began to roar with laughter, begging for him to stop. "Please, stop, Naruto-kun. I can't take it. I can't breathe, stop tickling me." Tiamat cried with laughter as tears ran out of her eyes. "You're evil, you bastard, I'll get you back for this, you. Hee 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 hee." All the while Naruto was laughing maniacally. Time skip. A few hours later. Naruto enjoyed the peaceful life of making ramen. He was thankful that Ichiraku Oji-san taught him his recipe for ramen. Therefore, it wasn't really that difficult for Naruto to make ramen and make some decent money while he was at it. "I should really check my bank account tomorrow," Naruto thought. Wonder if the sales from his books about titled Lovers Between Worlds was doing any good. It was basically like his and Penemu's relationship, of where a mortal man has a relationship with a supernatural being who is a woman. The book hasn't revealed much about the woman's past, only that she had magical powers and wasn't a human. The human with an abnormal talent for anything he works hard in. Catches her interest, and romance between the two ensue from there. Also, owning this shop had more than one advantage. No one in the supernatural world would ever suspect an innocent ramen chef to be an assassin, recon operative for Azazel and Grigori. Well, to the public of the supernatural world, Naruto was simply a bodyguard who was a human with magic abilities. The assassin part was under wraps till El Azazel thought it was best for someone to know. Naruto indeed detected Rainier, Danasek, Calawarner, and Midelt were currently hiding in an abandoned church. Thanks to Naruto's animal magic and K.H. Bunshin's, he was able to spy on them with ease. His stealth skills were improving greatly too. To the point, he could be in the same room as someone but they are completely unaware of him being there. Naruto is currently cleaning the counter when he heard the door to his restaurant open up. Looking up, he saw a petite girl with white hair and hazel eyes. She has 2 long bangs going past her shoulders and several loose bangs hanging over her forehead, while the back has a short bob cut. She also wears a black cat-shaped hair clip on both sides of her hair. She usually wears the Kuo Academy girls' school uniform, without the shoulder cape. Raising an eyebrow, Naruto studied the small girl. Her aura feels very similar to Kuroka's, so this must be her younger sister Sharon. Or as she goes by now, Tuju Kaneko. Naruto thought to himself before putting on a smile. Hello there, Chibi-chan. Welcome to Uzumaki Ramen, how can I help you? Kaneko eye twitched at being called Chibi-chan before. Rishi marched right up to Naruto with a bored look on her face. How do you have chakra when you're only a human? She spoke bluntly in a monotone tone of voice. Chakra is very dangerous, you shouldn't use it. But stopped when Naruto just gave her a blank apathy look. Mentally, Naruto frowned a little bit. Damn it, Kuroka, you really did a number on your sister, didn't you? Naruto thought, shaking his head in disappointment. Chakra isn't dangerous on its own, it's the people who are using it that make it dangerous. The humble ramen chef who knows many things, Chibi-chan. I'll tell you what, I'll teach you how to use your chakra safely. In exchange, you don't tell your master about me. Wouldn't you say something like that is a fair trade? You trade information and I help you get strong. Naruto asked the cute little girl, hoping she would agree. Now why would I agree to that? I don't understand why you don't simply put her under Genjutsu, kid, it would make things 100 times easier. Kurama grumbled in annoyance. Oi, you're not helping at all, furball. Naruto retorted as Kurama snorted. Don't call me furball, Gaki. Kurama retorted. Want me to summon the chains of punishment again? Naruto mentally replied to the Biju within his body, who wisely shut up. Naruto spars with Kurama in his mindscape, only using magic as a form of ninjutsu. Kurama didn't have a fun time. When Naruto summoned forth storms and tornadoes, all the while keeping him chained down in the chains of punishment spell he cast to trap the Biju. Naruto was improving on his magic skill. Naruto sighed before staring at Kaneko. I'm sure you have people who are precious to you, right? Low level, Naruto asked as Kaneko nodded slowly. I hate to tell you this, but at your current level of power, you wouldn't be able to fight Upper Bag or low-level mage, Naruto said as he cleaned a glass while looking far off into the empty street. Kaneko just stared at Naruto, conflicted. You are in a world where beings could destroy mountains and level cities, yet you're stuck with just hand-to-hand combat, am I wrong? You're a Nekomata and yet you deny your power, which isn't healthy for you mentally or physically. If you continue to deny that side of you, won't get any stronger. You'll eventually be left behind while all your comrades and enemies get stronger than you. Naruto said in a blunt yet truthful tone. He doesn't like to be mean to people, but sometimes he had to talk some damn sense into people or beat some sense into them. Kaneko glared at Naruto. You don't understand, she hissed at him. Naruto narrowed his eyes slightly. Oh, and what don't I understand, Neko-chan? Naruto said, hopefully being able to get Kaneko's side of the story. As he heard he got Kuroka's, apparently her master was planning to perform tests on Sharon. Therefore, she killed her master with Senjutsu and Yujutsu, and people believe she went crazy with power, which is far from the truth. The only ones who go mad for power are the one that normally will murder, kill, and sacrifice anything to get power regardless of the cost. Kuroka never wanted power for herself, but the power to protect her sister. Oniko simply glared at Naruto, gritting her teeth. How dare he ask such a question? Kaneko remained silent while Naruto simply sighed and ran his fingers through his shoulder-length spiky blonde hair. I guess I have no choice then, the Uzumaki thought as he noted the small tinge of snow white at the tips of his hair. I am only 20 years old, why am I growing white hair already? Stress or something? Naruto breathed before turning his gaze to the girl. I know the truth about your sister Kuroka, Sharon. You only believe what you want to believe. Your sister is not the evil drunk on power woman you believe she is to be. Naruto said while Kaneko jumped at Naruto with her fist cocked back. Naruto effortlessly caught her small fist inside of his hand. Naruto gently poked Kaneko in the shoulder as her entire arm went numb. I really have to thank Barakiel for teaching me pressure points, Naruto thought to himself. I don't believe a word you say, she's evil. Naruto placed his hand on the wall of his ramen shop as kanji and various symbols spread across the wall. Now listen here Sharon, what I'm about to tell you is what I heard from Kuroka herself. If you want confirmation I can simply bring her here, Naruto said as he crossed his arms underneath his chest. Kaneko grumbled under her breath, ordering a few curses about this blonde asshole. Thank you for the compliment, Naruto said sarcastically as Kaneko glared at him. Kaneko, however, shivered in fear as Naruto's ice-cold blue eyes stared into her soul, daring her to challenge him. She backed down, which Naruto's eyes turned back to their warm crystal sapphire blue color. Okay, where to begin? Naruto began as Kaneko's eyes were locked on him. From what Kuroka told me when she wasn't busy with other things, her past master wasn't the nicest person in the world. She told me he was a greedy scumbag who would do anything for power. He would perform all types of tests on his peerage in order to increase their power. He did the same to Kuroka. That's why her power increased so drastically in such a short period of time. And then he came up with a bright idea to do the same thing to you. Not only was he planning on turning you into a member of his peerage, but also he was going to experiment on you as well, Naruto said as Kaneko's eyes widened at this bit of information. So I'm guessing you were in between the ages of 5 to 8 at the around that time. So I can only guess that experiments like that would have killed you. When Kuroka found this out, she lost herself in a fit of rage and killed her former master. In addition, before she could even explain herself, she was branded as a traitor and chased through the underworld. She didn't want you to live on the run, that's why she left you behind. She's also the one that contacted Searzex, the man who saved you. If it weren't for your sister, you would have been executed before you hit age 10. You don't owe your life to Searzex or his sister Rias. You own your life to your sister Kuroka. She really does love you, Naruto explained in a serious tone that held no emotion. Naruto stared at Kaneko as tears began to spill out of her eyes. How do I know you're telling the truth? Before Naruto could answer, a more mature female voice came from behind Naruto. Naruto, without even turning around, simply asked, "What are you doing here, Kuroka?" The shinobi asked as he turned around as he saw Kuroka and Baiko standing there. This caused the Uzumaki to raise an eyebrow at the sudden visit. Normally Baiko just sleeps and Kuroka tries to get in Valley's pants. "We're here to get some of your ramen, Naruto," Baiko declared in a cheerful tone. Kuroka made her way over to her younger sister with a sad look on her face. "Why didn't you tell me?" Kaneko simply uttered out. Kuroka kneeled down before hugging her sister. "If I would have tried to stay close to you or bring you with me, it would have made things even worse back then. There was no way I could have broken you out of prison back then. I highly doubt I can do it even now with my skills. Everything Naruto told you is true. Although I wish he would respect my privacy a little bit. Kuroka said as she glared at Naruto. Naruto just given the Nekosho a harsh icy glare in return as his power boiled within him, causing Kuroka to back off. Kuroka knew Naruto was still pissed at her for not telling her sister the truth earlier than this. The Uzumaki beat some sense into a lot of people on Valley's team. Kuroka was included in these Uzumaki beatdowns. She could still feel he ghost pains of his gravity spell plus chakra enhanced punch when he sent her flying and knocked her out in one blow. Baiko simply ignored everyone as he sat down at the table playing with a pair of chopsticks. Naruto sighed before going into the back and preparing some ramen for the two gluttons of Grigori plus Kaneko. Later, Naruto was proud of himself. He managed to make the Nekosho sisters kiss and made up with each other. Although Naruto knew he was going to have to both sisters in private tomorrow about certain things. But those things could wait as he had other plans and needed to go out for one of his Black Ops missions. Although he was currently suiting up for his nightly sweep of the area. He was wearing his cybernetic shinobi armor. Naruto had a bandana on top of his head, with a metal faceplate and crown that covered half of his head with a green visor. He also had a skin-tight black suit, with metal plating on his arms, chest, stomach, crotch, posterior, and armor-plated gloves and boots that reached up to his knees. Lone Onyx Wolf. Basically the original art concept for Genji and Hanzo from Overwatch, where they were the same character instead of two different people. It's on Google Images. Just keep in mind the altered mentions. He silently crept through his house. He left a cage bunchen with Tiamat so she wouldn't be alone. Naruto noticed Kuroka sleeping on T. He couched while holding her sister in a tight hug, and Baiko was lying on top of his table snoring away. Naruto shook his head before using Kamui to leave his house without making any noise. Naruto app. ARED on top of his roof through a dual vortex, which was created from his eyes. Naruto surveyed the area. Without making a noise, Naruto jumped from the roof. He moved silently like a spider moving in for the kill. Strapped to his back was his Murasama, a cursed weapon that has an unknown past and history. What's known about the blade is its ability to kill someone with a single cut. This blade has taken countless lives, supernatural and non-supernatural. It was regarded as such because not one being survives being cut by its blade. But what they didn't know was Murasama was a semi-sub picking its master to use its deathly powers. Next to Murasama is Naruto's bow that can fold up for quick travel or extend to full length and snipe enemies from afar. The bow attaches to Naruto's armor and EV. Can shoot different types of arrows from board tip to explosive. On his hip behind his back was his custom-made wakizashi that has a sleek shirasaya design. The wakizashi for defense and deflecting objects of all kinds from hitting him, as well his main stealth weapon he could quickly draw out and defend himself. The wakizashi was magically enhanced to handle a beating, not to mention Naruto applied Fuinjutsu to his wakizashi. He would carry his Tanto Ryu no Senin, his artificial sacred gear, which served two purposes: a secondary weapon and a power-up. However, he felt it should be used as a public weapon and not part of his Black Ops gear, which Azazel custom made with some help from an old yokai who knew Azazel's wife. Naruto was truly thankful to Azazel, an unknown yokai, for making him all this gear. Especially the shuriken loader in his wrists. Around his waist was his ninja pouches, which were filled with numerous scrolls that held smoke bombs, poison of varying types, ninja wire, flash grenades, C4, poison darts, among other weapons or supplies. Moreover, for the items that weren't sealed in scrolls are his kunai, shuriken, explosive tags, chakra blades, and a smartphone programmed to hack into nearly any mainframe wirelessly. This phone is attached to Naruto's left forearm and controls several functions of his armor, including his invisibility cloak, visor functions, energy barrier, hacking programs, GPS, and other small yet useful functions. Yeah, Azazel went little nuts with this armor. However, man, it was badass. Naruto then vanished in a blur of speed as he raveled through the entire town of Kuo, dealing with anything that can cause a problem for normal humans. That meant Naruto dealt with not only rogue fallen angels but stray devils as well. It was a dirty job, but someone had to do it. Naruto was thankful for the different vision modes that his visor had, such as thermal, night, infrared, and ultraviolet. Hell, Azazel tried to install an invisibility cloak in the suit, but Naruto denied it as he said it would be a bit too much. However, Azazel wasn't having it and went a little mad scientist on his armor, which now had an invisibility cloak and suppress Naruto's magical signature, scent, thoughts, and nearly anything that could help identify him. This made him a literal ghost to anyone or anything around him. Much to Naruto's dismay and Azazel's joy, Naruto accepted the armor and weapons Azazel enhanced a bit. As Naruto continued to move through the alleyways and jumped from rooftop to rooftop, he heard a familiar ringing from his rearm-mounted modified phone and looked at the screen. Naruto groaned while looking at the number and cursed his luck in the process. "Why do you always pick the worst times to call me, Azazel?" Naruto growled mentally. Naruto touched his earpiece, activating his Bluetooth. "What is Azazel?" There was silence on the other end of the phone. "Azazel, are you there?" Again. Nothing. Naruto sighed in frustration. Maybe he butt dialed me or something. Naruto questioned his shitty luck. Naruto heard a growl coming from one of the alleyways and a scream. Naruto quickly jumped down to the alleyway as he saw something that looked like a cross between a human, a spider, and a wolf. The thing was grotesque. It had no skin on its body as it literally looked like a mass of meat with multiple legs. Naruto silently grabbed Murasama, pulling it out of its sheath and slashing the creature across its back as it screamed in pain. Soon multiple black symbols spread from the cut as the creature dropped dead to the ground. Naruto then kicked the large creature off the victim only to find out that whoever this person was unrecognizable. Naruto then set both the human and the creature ablaze with the Igni sign. As their bodies were incinerated in his blue and black flames, Naruto made sure there was nothing left as he quickly sheathed Murasama and took off before anyone could arrive. One had to make sure to Saw's the memory wiping spell so no one would remember this person. As the last thing Naruto needed with suspicion are humans gaining knowledge of the supernatural world. Sometimes I wonder why I accepted this job in the first place, Naruto thought as he continued his sweep of the area. Maybe because you were raised in a world filled with shinobi, Kurama replied sarcastically. Hell, I am surprised at this as I never thought the Gaki would take such a drastic turn in life. To take missions similar to the Anbu back in his village. I can't help but feel proud, yet said the Naruto I knew is gone. Still, the same old Naruto is still there, just grown up, Kurama thought to himself. Naruto then noticed a familiar pink and black magic circle appearing next to his ear. Thankful she wasn't appearing near him as he didn't want anyone to know what he did within the shadows of the supernatural world. Yo Lily-chan, how you doing tonight? Naruto spoke to Lilith, who simply giggled on the other side of the communication spell. I'm doing fine, Naruto-kun. More importantly, how are you doing? The goddess of a devil spoke in a usual melody-like voice. You know, the same old, Azazel pudding. Stuff off and running some recon missions. Maybe he's too lazy to do it himself. Naruto simply replied. Naruto-kun, as much as I'd love to chat with you, this is important. Kokubile is having clones of Cerberus made. I can only assume he's preparing to attack sooner or later. Naruto narrowed his eyes at this new information. Kokubile, you just went on my shit list to my kill list, Naruto thought. As Kurama shivered a bit, feeling the cold near absolute zero feeling Naruto was giving off. What is this feeling? It's like I can feel the nothing coming from Naruto. Like he is part of the void or something. Kurama thought, to wonder how powerful Naruto truly was. Thank Lily-chan, you really are a big help. I think one these days I'm going to have to take you out to get a coffee or lunch or something to repay you for all the help you've been given me. Naruto simply replied as he knew Lilith he really wanted to have a romantic relationship with him. In addition, Naruto felt guilty for not responding to her original request. And yet she still helped him. It bothered him greatly. I'd like that, Naruto-kun. Well, until we meet again later, Naruto-kun. Lilith said before her magic circle vanished from his ear. Naruto then decided to call it a night as he headed back towards his house mansion as he really wanted to get some sleep and cuddle next to his familiar girlfriend Tiamat. I need send a message to Lilith about a date. I am free in 2 days. Yeah, I will take Lilith to Paris then as a thank you and as a date. It would work perfectly and we could possibly move our relationship forward from there. Penamu Heim and Tiamat Heim already know about Lilith and approve, so I just need to make it official. I really hope I don't mess it up and hurt Lilith, Naruto thought as he smiled and raced home to change out of his armor and hide it in his hidden compartment. No reason to have someone know he owns one of the most cursed yet deathly powerful blades in the world after all. Unknown location. Standing in front of her seems to be a humanoid figure that resembled a skeleton cloaked in a red and black aura. This skeleton handed the woman a scroll which he proceeded to open and read. Are you sure about this? The beautiful woman asked, reading through the scroll. This skeleton bowed down to the woman in front of him. Yes, Shinigami-sama, I believe he will be the one to free you. As already stated before, he wanted to save you from this place. Although I cannot understand what would compel him to do such a deed, this skeleton spoke in an unrecognizable genderless tone. The woman nodded as she continued reading the scroll before her eyes widened before she released a melody like a giggle. Era, now this ikukuku. To think he's attracted the attention of Lilith, the beginning mother of all devils, Tiamat the Chaos Karma Dragon, strongest of the Godai Ryuo, and is affiliated with Grigori and is in a relationship with one of the leaders. This skeleton nodded. Yes, Shinigami-sama, from all the intel we were able to gather, we were able to mark young Uzumaki Naruto with a curse. The young woman raised an eyebrow in confusion. Why would you put a curse on him? He's done nothing to earn such a punishment. If anything, he should be rewarded if he manages to successfully free me from this place. The woman said as she glared at the skeleton that didn't even flinch. You misunderstood me, Shinigami-sama. We did not put a harmful curse on him. It's more or less a curse that transfers information to us, allowing us to track his every movement without him even noticing. The curse is undetectable, as it appears as nothing more than a simple pimple or skin irritation. It is simply passed by someone brushing up against one of our tombstones. The young woman smiled at this. That's good. I didn't want to have to destroy you for harming this boy. Now I'm sure I can transfer things to this cursed, can't I? The skeleton simply nodded as the woman Avenue a grin showing off her sharp pearly white teeth. Then I shall begin influencing him. I will make them question himself. Question all of his decisions, question everything he's done up until now. Moreover, he will only find relief from everything by pledging his allegiance to me and me alone. I shall mark him as my avatar in this world, and he shall only obey me. The woman declared as her eyes blazed to life. And with the aid of Naruto-kun, I shall declare war upon that foolish ex-husband of mine. The woman continued ranting on as the skeleton simply stared on, not showing any emotion whatsoever. With Naruto groaned as he woke up. Looking at his right shoulder, he noticed it was irritated and bumpy, and upon scratching it, which burned as if he got hit by the black flames of Amaterasu. Ack! Naruto yelped as he gripped his arm as he noticed black fluid began to leak out. Kurama, what the hell is this thing? Naruto called to his partner. Kurama narrowed his eyes at Naruto's irritated skin that was leaking black goo. I don't know what it is, kid, but it's similar to the Uchiha's curse seal. It seems someone is trying to control you, but you are too stubborn, and your WILL power is beyond anything I've ever seen to fall to someone. I suggest you talk to someone about it immediately and see if they can be removed, Kurama advised with a serious expression. Naruto nodded as he began to think. I know I don't want to ask this of her, but maybe Lilith can help. Possibly, maybe she could look at this and see what is. In the meantime, I should probably tell Azazel about is as well, Naruto thought as he looked to his side and saw Tiamat, who was currently sleeping soundly. Naruto got out of bed before creating a clone to take his place. Naruto pulled out his smartphone before he dialed Azazel's number. Hey, Naruto, what's up? You don't usually call, so this must mean something happened, Azazel reasoned out. Naruto hardly called the fallen leaders for anything. Most of Naruto's conversations were face-to-face, seeing Naruto had few days off where he was allowed to do anything he wanted. On his days off he does take the girls out on dates, spends time cleaning his stuff, or training. Other than that, Naruto doesn't really call Shemhazai, Azazel, or Barakil much unless he absolutely needed help with something. Naruto grumbled before answering. I woke up this RNING with a weird skin irritation. Upon scratching it causes me immense pain and it has a vile feeling to it's almost as if it's a curse, Naruto answered as he noticed the other end of the line was quiet. Hexes of curse spells are far and many, ranging from all sorts of effects. Naruto didn't like the idea of hexes, so he left the spells alone even though he could have learned it. He was familiar with hexes, but he didn't know much about them other than the basics and what they could do. He doesn't know how to remove a few hexes, but not that many. Azazel. Naruto was greeted by the sound of a phone hanging up, and almost instantly, a magic circle appeared in front of him as Azazel came out. Azazel had a serious look on his face as he noticed Naruto's irritated shoulder. Azazel pulling out a cotton swab and began to swab up some of the black fluid. Azazel looked at it with a frown as he watched some of the drip to the ground. It seemed to create black smoke on the wooden floors in Naruto's room. This is definitely new. I've never seen anything like this before, Azazel spoke in a serious tone. Yeah, I'm thinking about having Lilith take a look at it in a couple days when I go out. Her Naruto said nonchalantly as Azazel stared at him as if he grew 3 heads. Instead of retorting, Azazel simply sighed. Just be careful, I still don't trust her, even if Penemu and Tiamat trust her, I don't. Azazel grumbled, and with that, Azazel left to analyze the black fluid. Naruto groaned as he put a gauze bandage over his irritated shoulder before putting on his usual work kimono. I guess it's another day of making ramen. It's better than sitting around doing nothing, Naruto thought to himself as he put on a smile and walked down from the upstairs apartment down to the ramen shop below. Naruto started preparing his humble ramen shop as he noted a few things going off in the distance. He could sense the fallen angels were moving about, but nothing too alarming. Mostly mingling with humans, or they have nothing to really do. They are going about more lately than usual. Could it be they already done something to Issei-san? I have to send a Kage Bunshin to watch the boy, Nar. Yuto thought as he unpacked the chairs for his shop. Naruto was in his room currently getting ready for his date with Lily, aka Lilith, the beginning mother of all devils. Naruto was currently wearing a black suit, blood orange dress shirt, red tie, and a gothic black business vest. Naruto was playing with the collar of his shirt as he didn't like dressing up like this often, but for his lovers and Azazel, he would do it. Man, I don't know how Azazel and the others can wear these all the time and not be uncomfortable. Kimonos for me are so much better to wear, Naruto whined in thought. Naruto even slicked his hair back, trying to make himself look as good as he possibly could. Tiamat was sitting off in the corner reading a graphic novel called The Action Bible, God's Redemptive Story. How do I look? Naruto asked as Tiamat looked up at him and blushed heavily. If Naruto wasn't an Adonis-like male figure, she didn't know who is. Epically in the suit, as he looked more like a hired sexy hit man. The fact his golden locks and crystal sapphire blue eyes made him seem so dashing and handsome while keeping a professional aura around him. You look dashing, I feel kind of jealous. Lilith, I's a very lucky woman to get a man like you, just like me and Penemu. Tiamat said while drinking in her mate's form. She had to say he should wear suits more often. However, maybe he shouldn't, as Pain Mew and herself have a hard enough time dealing with the looser fallen females who are basically nothing more than like horny sluts looking to be fucked by the most powerful man they can find. Saireo. OAN. The Action Bible, God's Redemptive Story is a very good read, and I suggest you guys read it if you're interested. Naruto smiled at her compliment before walking over and giving her a kiss. Amat had to control her urges to claim her mate right here right now. Oh, for the love of dragon's blood, his scent and looks are so addicting. Is this what I've been missing? I am glad I am not missing out on this priceless piece of a man, Tiamat thought as lewd things popped into her mind. Tiamat, can you make sure Kuroka and Baiko don't burn this place down to the ground while gone? Naruto asks in a pleading tone as Tiamat nods. Don't worry, I'll keep them in line and make sure those wild animals don't do anything to Tiamat pun as she referred to Kuroka and Baiko as wild animals. Naruto then said his goodbyes as he headed downstairs as he saw Kuroka and Baiko wearing the standard Uzumaki ramen uniforms, which were standard work white kimonos. Kuroka had a bandana on top of her HEA D as she had her Nekomata features hidden, while Baiko was staring at Valley, who was bound and gagged in the closet with a look of anger and shock. I trust that you two will take good care of my restaurant, Naruto said as Kuroka nodded with a small smile. No problem, Naruto-kun, it's the least I can do. After all, you managed to get me and my sister back on good terms with one another, Kuroka said, without letting her Nekomata verbal tick make itself known. Baiko then turned to Naruto. Hey Naruto, why is Valley gagged up in the closet? Naruto gave the Monkey King a deadpan stare. He attacked me because I'm going on a date with his great-grandma Lilith. So, I restrained him, tied and gagged him and threw him in that closet. And I don't feel like dealing with him today, so yeah, just avenue him in there, I'll let him out when I come back home, Naruto said before heading towards the door. Valley yelled something, although it was muffled, but Naruto can only guess that the descendant of Lucifer was cursing him out. Baiko gave Valley a sympathetic look. Sorry about this, boss, no hard feelings, right? He said before shutting the door in Valley's face. You know when he gets out of that he can kill you, right? Baiko looked at Kuroka with a bored expression. Yeah, and Kuroka shook her head. I wonder why I even follow these maniacs around. All they do is look for fights. They never once ever tried to make one advance towards me. Kuroka sighed as she watched Naruto vanished in a magic circle. Maybe I should talk to Naruto and see if he's willing to take me into his ever-growing harem. Kuroka thought as she turned to repay Naruto the kindness he did for her. As she went about her new responsibilities, she thought of how much things have changed since Naruto appeared. Tiamat, who is hiding in the hall watching the cat and monkey, only could narrow her slitted eyes as she seeing a longing look on Kuroka's face. Underworld. Realm of the dead. Lilith was currently getting ready for her date with Naruto in Paris while Hades sat there grumbling under his breath. Hades, I told you I'll be fine. Naruto won't hurt me. Hades continued grumbling under his breath. That brat doesn't deserve you. After what Lucifer did you. I swore on the Styx River that I would incinerate anyone who dared to even touch you. You're like a daughter to me and I will not allow anyone or anything to harm you. Hades declared in an annoyed and angry tone. Lilith blushed slightly while rolling her eyes. If only the biblical God was this caring for me, maybe just maybe none of those events would've ever happened. Lilith thought as she scowled at the thought of her past husbands Adam and Lucifer. In truth, Lilith saw Hades as the father she never had, the father she should have had. Hades may have been cruel, dark and sadistic towards those he didn't like, but towards his wife Persephone, Lilith, and possibly his younger brother Poseidon. He is the kindest, heartwarming person you've ever met. Lilith then did a little twirl around in front of Hades, her adopted father. How do I look, Otu Santilda? Lilith said as she said cute tone as she gave a little wink towards Hades. Despite being a living skeleton, Hades mustered a smile, or the best he could do. You look lovely, my little lily pad, Hades said in a lovey-dovey down as he fought the urge to hug and squeeze Lilith to death. Lilith huffed as she gave a cute little glare towards Hades. Damn it, I told you to stop calling me that. Ka. How can I? You're absolutely adorable when you glare at me like that. Hades' cheerful demeanor quickly changed as he felt a massive powerful presence approaching, as an orange and blue magic circle appeared. Naruto came out of the magic circle looking around to make sure he arrived in the right place. As it wouldn't be the first time he asked, in the end, up in the wrong place, especially when he teleported into the bathroom while Azazel was taking a dump. There is a memory he would to bury in the deepest pit in the Shinigami's realm. So, we finally meet face to face, Naruto. Hades' raspy demonic voice cut through the air as Naruto felt a chill go down his spine. Naruto would've screamed if he wasn't used to death all the time, plus the fact he mentally prepared himself for anything that might happen day in or day out. So, while on the outside Naruto remained composed, calm, and collected. Inside he was nervous and thinking over his words carefully. Nevertheless, man was Hades creepy looking. Greetings Hades-sama, it's a pleasure to meet you. Naruto bowed lightly before the god of the dead. Hades grabbed Naruto's shoulder. Naruto winced in pain as his skin irritation hadn't gotten any better. Hades took note of this and noticed, before snapping his fingers as Naruto's jacket and shirt vanished. Boy, how did you get this curse? Hades said, glaring at the curse with anger. Hades was the most level-headed and fair of the big three in the Greek faction along with his brother Poseidon. Both brothers agreed that Zeus was becoming a problem and they needed a stronger figurehead. However, Hera and Rhea do not want anything to do with Zeus anymore. Then again, Ra's divorced Zeus, which wasn't a real surprise as Hades and Poseidon danced in celibatarian. Still, seeing a curse like this on a soul like Naruto raised Hades' ire. While he was protective of Lilith and his wife, he still was god of the dead and possibly death, as some gods of the geek faction was fading. Therefore, it was up to the other gods to pick up the slack. Naruto looked at Hades nervously as he looked at Lilith, who looked worried. I don't know. Hades grumbled a curse in Greek. Well kid, it seems you've been cursed by Izanami. The fact that she cursed you in the first place either means one of two things. Either she's trying to control you or she wants you dead so she can claim your soul as hers. Naruto's eyes widened, and before Naruto could even utter a word, he noticed Hades' hand is glowing a ghostly blue. I'll remove this curse, but you have to promise me that you'll take care of Lilith. If you hurt her in any way, shape or form, I will feed you to Cerberus. Am I understood? Angry Papa Bear aka Hades growled. Naruto nodded furiously as he put his hand on Naruto's shoulder, which Naruto bit his lip, drawing blood to prevent a scream from escaping. Hades soon pulled his hand away as the rash was gone. The black ooze was no longer leaking out. He snapped his fingers again as Naruto's clothing reappeared on his body. Now get out of my palace, and try to enjoy your date, Hades grumbled as he walked away. Lilith walked over to Naruto. She looked heavenly. Her long luscious black hair was now slightly curly. She was wearing a knee-high black dress with traces of pink and orange in the dress. She had very little makeup on other than some black lipstick, and blue eyeshadow and mascara. You look absolutely stunning, Lily-chan, Naruto muttered out with a blush on his cheeks. Why thank you, Naruto-kun, you look rather dashing, although I'm curious, how did you gain the attention of Izanami of all people? Lilith asked with a concerned look on her face. Naruto simply shrugged his shoulders. To be honest, I wish I knew. I feel bad for her husband betrayed her. However, I can't dwell on that, as something far more important is happening for you tonight, Naruto said as his crystal sapphire eyes glistened a bit with warmth and kindliness. Lilith nodded, knowing the entire story between two of the older Shinto deities. While there is no point in standing around here, let's go. She spoke in a cheerful tone as she activated her magic circle, teleporting her and Naruto out of the underworld, realm of the dead. However, before they completely teleported out, Naruto has a lingering feeling something was off about tonight. Why do I have the feeling of Naruto thought to himself. Naruto pondered this thought for a brief minute before he mentally shrugged. He shouldn't be too worried, as he made sure his cage Bunshin kept an eye on Issei, and both Tiamat and Penemu were possibly off shopping or something. In Kuo town, two young teens made their way towards a fountain. The first teen was a young beautiful girl with long raven black hair and purple eyes, wearing a pink dress. The second teen was a young man with spiky brown hair and brown eyes. They were Amano Yuma aka Rainier, and the young man was Hyodo Issei, the current holder of D-Drag, the Security Red Dragon Emperor. Aiz-kun, I really enjoyed our date tonight, Yuma spoke in a cheerful tone. While Issei scratched the back of his head sheepishly. No problem, Yuma-chan. Issei didn't notice it, but Rainier gained a slightly sinister glint as she guided him closer to the fountain. There's something that I want to do to celebrate our first date. Can you listen to my wish? She asked in an ever so innocent voice. Issei nodded dumbly, not even paying attention to her subtle changes in demeanor. Of course, I will, Yuma-chan. So, what's this wish of yours? Will you die for me? She asked with an innocent look on her face. Issei was taken back for a second before cleaning on his ear. I'm sorry, Yuma-chan, can you please repeat that again? I could have sworn you said, will you die for me? Yuma-chan, what the hell are you doing? Rainier gave a sinister smirk before forming a purple spear of light. What does it look like I'm doing, Aiz-kun? I'm fulfilling my little wish. I'm going to kill you. She yelled hysterically. Issei fell to the ground as he began to see. Roll backwards away from Rainier, who advanced slowly, as her sinister grin grew by the second. I'm afraid I'm going to have to stop you. I need him alive and I can't have you killing him. A cool cow, and collected voice called out from behind Rainier, turning around, her eyes widened. Who are you? Your worst nightmare, was all the void said as it was devoid of all emotion and life. Like something from the void itself had come to claim the souls that needed to return to the nothingness they were all born from. Back with Naruto and Lilith. Naruto simply couldn't get over how beautiful Paris truly was at nighttime. He and Lilith were having a great time with one another. They were currently heading towards the restaurant Gusto. This ironically was in a movie called Ratatouille, a Disney Pixar film about a rat that had an appreciation for good food and loved to cook. Naruto had booked reservations 2 days ahead of time so that way they would have a table in the restaurant. Naruto had never eaten anything from Paris before, although he had been there a few times, while on his recon missions. Lilith had assured him that they have wonderful food here, so Naruto took her word for it. Naruto could do without the women and men staring at him or Lilith though. Naruto glared and aimed killing intent at the men lustfully looking at Lilith. He didn't know what Lilith did to the women, who were drooling over the golden blonde-haired Adonis. Maybe he didn't need or want to know honestly. They walked up to the host of the restaurant, who appeared to be an elderly man in a tuxedo. "Do you have reservations, sir?" the old man asked. Naruto nodded. "Naruto Uzumaki," Naruto said simply, as his voice sounded smooth like silky to Lilith's ears. She blushed a bit, glad he matured so much in the span of nearly 4 years. His voice alone sounded like silk and made her knees slightly weak. As he sounded more mature and well-intelligent despite him not being the sharpest tool. However, Naruto was not the dullest tool either, as he was intelligent in his own way. Just not what many people consider genius. The old man looked through his clipboard. "Ah, here you are, please follow me and I'll show you to your table," the waiter said as the couple nodded. Naruto and Lilith walked arm in arm as they filed the old man to an open table. Naruto pulled out the chair for Lilith, allowing her to sit down as she muttered out, "What a gentleman." Naruto took his seat as the old man placed 2 menus in front of them. "Please enjoy your stay, someone will be with you shortly," the old man said before walking away. Lilith looked at Naruto more closely than she did before and noticed his dress style. She blushed a bit of how great and sexy he looked. He completed the sexy hitman and secret agent look rather well. In addition, the look in his eyes told you alone he was a highly skilled and trained warrior. Not only that, but his movements and way he looked at her was not of lust but admiration and awe. She never had a male in her life that didn't lust after her and wanted to spread her legs open. Being treated like an actual woman and respected was enlightening. Maybe he is the one for me after all. I can't mess this up. If this is my only chance at true love, then I have to jump at this chance, Lilith thought with a blush, imaging black-haired with gold-tinted hair kids running about in a happy and safe environment. Lilith was snapped out of her train of thought when she felt the presence of someone. Looking up, she noticed a young waitress who was staring at Naruto with blush on her cheeks. Lilith growled under her breath as she glared daggers at the woman. Naruto gave the woman a smile that seemed to melt your heart. A few minutes went by before the woman finally managed to muster up enough strength to speak. Is there anything I can offer you? Tea to drink?" Before Naruto could even answer, Lilith cut them off. "A bottle of your finest champagne will do, dare," she spoke, in a kind tone, just trying to get the waitress away from her. Naruto. "No, of course, right away," the woman squeaked before making her way towards the back of the restaurant. "Naruto-kun, you need to be careful of her, she's a vampire, succubus hybrid," Lilith whispered out as Naruto nodded. "I know she's trying to play herself off as an innocent waitress and would try to lure me away from you. Don't worry, Lily-chan, it takes more than a sexy woman to seduce me." Lilith gave a small smirk. "That's not why Penemu told me, Tilda. She said you are practically party in her hands." Naruto's eyes widened as his face turned beet red. "That's not my fault, it was my first time," Naruto whispered at Lilith, who simply giggled in amusement. Naruto grumbled under his breath as he felt the vampire, succubus hybrid approaching again. She gently set the bottle of champagne down on the table. She pulled out a small notepad. "Man, I take your order?" she asked cutely, trying to gain Naruto's attention. Naruto stared her directly in the eyes, not paying attention to her body. "I'll have the buff bourguignon, beef stewed in red wine. I'll have the encornets farcis, cuttlefish stuffed with sausage meat, herbs," Lilith answered softly as the woman finished jotting down the orders before heading towards the kitchen. "There's no doubt in my mind that she's going to try some." Lilith spoke with slight concern for Naruto's safety. Naruto simply waved her caution off. "Trust me, I highly doubt anything she could do could really work on me. Illusions simply don't work on me, and poisons don't work either. The only way she would ever be able to take me is through physical force alone, and I highly doubt she's strong enough to do that," Naruto answered as Lilith nodded before opening the bottle of champagne. Naruto watched the champagne cork fly across the restaurant, as it hit some fat guy in the back of the head. Naruto snorted in amusement as a little had a look of embarrassment on her face. "Why, oh, you did that on purpose, didn't you, Lily-chan?" Naruto asked with a smirk, as Lilith sheepishly scratched the back of her head and giggled nervously. Lilith noticed this as she felt the shiver go down her back. "Lily-chan, that man right there is a sick, twisted individual, and shouldn't be alive." "Why?" Lilith looked at Naruto with a look of concern. "Will you be alright?" Naruto sighed before nodding as the warmth returned to his eyes. Yelby Fudo said with his trademark foxy grin, which caused Lilith the blush again before smiling. Kit. Naruto mentally groaned as he heard Kurama yell out. What is it, Kurama? I'm trying to enjoy my date with Lily-chan. Naruto yelled at his furry partner. Well, Gaki, I just thought I would let you know that your clone is being attacked. And 3 of these beings are even stronger than your dragoness. Kurama retorted, causing Naruto's eyes to widen. Do you know who they are, Kurama? Naruto replied in a calm and emotionless tone. I didn't really get a good look at them, but I'll give you description of what I saw through your clone's eyes. The weakest one out of them all had brown skin and was wearing black vestments. The second strongest as giant dragon with 3 heads and 6 giant wings, and its scales were dark shade of purple. In the final and most powerful one was at least twice as strong as the 3-headed dragon. He had black ND blonde hairs as well as heterochromic eyes, where his right eye is gold and his left eye is black. Kurama replied, causing Naruto to have a look of confusion. Lilith watched Naruto as his face contorted into multiple facial expressions. Naruto-kun, are you alright? She asked in a concerned tone as Naruto looked at her and shook his head. No one of my clones is being attacked by 3 powerful entities. One was a man with dark skin wearing black vestments, the other was a 3-headed dragon with purple scales, and the final one was some guy with blonde and black hair. Naruto listed off as Lilith's eyes widened in fear. Naruto-kun, you just listed off the features for the 3 most powerful evil dragons. She whispered out with fear in her eyes. Naruto rose an eyebrow in confusion. Evil dragons. Lilith nodded before answering. They are known as broken dragons as well. It can happen to almost any dragon. Although dragons break for different reasons, some dragons break for the loss of a loved one, while others can simply break from you taking their favorite food. They are the most savage and brutal beings on this planet, and some of them could even surpassing Lucifer. The THREE dragons you mentioned, they are on par with that heavenly dragons themselves. Krom Kruok, Azidahaka, and Apophis. Lilith looked at Naruto with a look of concern. I don't know how you attracted their attention, but you must not under any circumstances fight them. Whatever they're looking for, just let them take it. A battle against the 3 of them would kill you. Even Hades wouldn't do such a thing. And he's a member of the top 10 strongest beings. The heavenly dragons in their prime were stronger than even Indra, who has the power to match 4 Satan-class beings. The heavenly dragons have enough power to match 8 Satan-class beings, and you have God-class power which matches up to 2 Satan-class beings. Lilith listed off as Naruto's eyes widened. So, when Naruto's in Senin Ode, your power is on par with Satan-class beings, huh? So that means my power is the equivalent of 75 Satan-class being. Kurama thought to himself with a smirk on his face. Naruto wanted to argue with Lilith, but he knew she was right. And he had no idea how powerful 3 heavenly dragon-class beings could truly be together. Their combined power would amass to 24 Satan-class beings. Naruto, with my or your Rakudo power you could defeat them. Kurama told Naruto. Naruto was deep in thought. Was this world truly ready to witness the power of Rakudo? While Naruto was deep in thought, Kurama was doing some calculations of his own. With his Rakudo Sennin mode, his power would reach a level of 60 Satan-class being combined, and with my power added to it, Naruto would have enough power to challenge 135 Satan-class beings at once. With our power combined as one, his power would even exceed that of the Jubi. But the question is, would this world truly ready for such a power? Kurama pondered in thought. Naruto sighed in defeat. Okay, Lily-chan, you win, I won't go. Naruto said, knowing he was going to regret this decision later, but seeing Lilith's smile made it all worth it. The young waitress finally came back with their order, placing Naruto's buff bourguignon down in front of him, and Lilith's encornets farcis in front of her. Bon appetit, she said before leaving with a small smirk on her face. He will be mine, I don't care what kind of supernatural being you are, bitch. For I am Sasha, daughter of the former queen of Succubus Mirabal and Dabaliosis, a former high-ranking vampire of the Teps faction. The young hybrid thought to herself, although she did not know who exactly Lilith was. Sasha spied on the male that caught her interest and felt herself hot and bothered imaging that godly stud of a man pounding her into submission. It's been a while since she last fed on anyone, and she was thirsty for something delicious. In addition, this man's scent was addictive and seductive. sedative as it caused her to go into a lustful and horny state. A cruel smirk etched onto her face as she thought of keeping him alive to reproduce and have a boy toy for her to use as she pleased. Lilith. H snarled as she smelt Naruto's buff bourguignon as she smelt strong hypnotic poison. She's treading on thin ice right now. Lilith growled under her breath. Naruto frowned before asking his faithful furry companion. Kurama, do you think this poison is dangerous? Naruto asked with a slight confused expression. MMH. This is pathetic, there is no substance to this poison, a brain-dead monkey Sue. LD resist it. Kurama snarled at how little effort this woman put into the poison. Naruto simply raised an eyebrow. So, it's safe to eat, right? Kurama rolled his eyes. What, you want me to hold your hand and blow on it, Kit? While I'm at it, do you want me to burp you and put you to bed? Kurama replied in a sarcastic tone. On Naruto's eye twitched. Naruto stared down at his food before grabbing a fork and picked up a piece of meat before putting in his mouth. Upon chewing, a burst of flavors exploded in his mouth as Naruto's frown turned into a look of delight. The flavors were so exquisite. Yuto couldn't help but take another bite. Naruto then glanced at Lilith, who was enjoying her food as well, which Naruto kind of cringed at the sight of the stuffed cuttlefish. Nevertheless, who is he? Did J. As he ate ramen for nearly every day of his life since he was 7 years old. The pair ate their meals in silence. Naruto couldn't help but released a small burp at the end. Lilith stared at him, before shaking her head as she gave a small chuckle, either out of embarrassment or out of amusement. Surprisingly, the young waitress didn't come back to their table, so Naruto pulled out a wad of bills before placing them on the table. Naruto made his way over to Lilith before offering her his hand, helping her out of that seat. They interlocked their arms as they began to walk out of the restaurant. Another hostess gave them a nod as they left. Paris. Naruto and Lilith walked through the busy streets of Paris, as they took in the sights. To Lilith, he wasn't anything new. She had been to Paris many times but never got old. Naruto had been in Paris a few times, but he never stopped to see the sights. Mostly on his assassination missions he didn't get to enjoy the view of some places he has been. However, coming back to Paris with Lilith was defiantly a great choice. It was beautiful. There simply weren't any other words Naruto could think of to describe what he was currently seeing. Naruto-kun, thank you for this wonderful evening. You're the first man in the past millennia or so that has ever made me feel this way. Adam was an obsessive, controlling asshole who thought I was his plaything. Moreover, Lucifer saw me as nothing more than an object that he could use to create more powerful devils with. But you don't see me as the beginning mother of all devils, but as me, Lilith. Naruto was slightly taken back by her words. When he first heard about her and began doing his research, he never would have thought that Lilith could be such a sweet woman. Any normal person would have mistaken her for an angel. All smile spread across Naruto's lips. You're welcome, Lily-chan. You are one of my most important precious people I hold dear to myself. And I did enjoy our date, and I know there'll be many more after that, Naruto said in a cheerful yet kind voice. Lilith gave a watery smile. Why couldn't I find you sooner, Naruto-kun? Everything about you seems so perfect, yet you have your flaws. You just don't care about those flaws and you accept almost anyone into your life regardless who or what they are. I am so happy I decided not to ignore you like all the other men who tried to. Bed me? She questioned himself before she took a step forward, leaning forward as she closed her eyes. Naruto copied her movements as he leaned forward as well, closing his eyes. It was a romantic scene. As the two met in the middle, sharing their first kiss. Naruto was in no rush, so kiss would be just fine. Lilith was in the same boat as she didn't want to ruin this perfect relationship. However, Saint, like all good things, they must come to an end. Get away from him, you bitch. Lilith scowled as she pulled away from Naruto as she came face to face with the Sasha, the waitress from the restaurant. Although Sasha wasn't wearing her standard uniform, she was wearing a gothic black dress. He's mine, do you understand me? Sasha yelled as Naruto only sighed in annoyance. Naruto would have stepped in, but he noticed the look on Lilith's face. She gritted her teeth. Do you know who you're talking to, hybrid? Sasha simply raised an eyebrow, obviously not knowing who Lilith truly was. I'm Sasha, dog. HTER, of the former queen of Succubus Mirabal and Dabaliosis, a former high-ranking vampire in the Teps faction. she declared proudly while puffing out her chest. Naruto raised an eyebrow and confused on never hearing either one of those names, while Lilith began to laugh. What's so funny? Mirabal was a worthless demoness who thought she was powerful, and she was never queen of the succubista. She was such a self-proclaimed title of hers. As for Dabaliosis, he was a powerful vampire on par with that of a high-class devil. However, neither one of them were powerful, and just because you're the daughter doesn't mean anything. I can imagine that you're not well accepted in either faction. I can see in your eyes. Lilith mocked with mirth in her eyes. Sasha was frothing at the mouth. How dare T.S. lowly harlot says such a thing about her parents. How dare you say such a thing? You know nothing of my parents, the hardships they had to go through. Lilith burst into a fit of laughter. Hardship? Oh, that's hilarious. Your mother was a thief and your father fake everything he ever did. They were perfect for each other since no one else could stand them. Sasha released her bat wings before king to the air in opening her hands, forming a dark pink orb of demonic energy. I'll show you, take this, she said before throwing the sphere at Lilith. Naruto looked on with a bored expression. This Sasha girl was all bark and no bite. Naruto smirked as he glanced at Lilith, who had a calm expression on her face. Go get her, Lily-chan, Naruto thought as he watched Lilith raise her hand. The orb of condensed pink energy crashed into Lilith's hand. The ex-wife of Adam and Lucifer gave what sounded like a cross between a sigh and a grunt as the orb of demonic power shattered into small particles of light. Is that all you can offer? Sasha growled before releasing multiple blasts of condensed pink energy. The small blasts of demonic power honed in on Lilith as they crashed into her. The multiple energy blasts caused a large explosion. Naruto used his magic to see Lilith, who was using her demonic power as a barrier, most likely to prevent her dress from getting dirty or something. Lilith pulsed her power, blowing away the smoke and dust from the energy blasts. Sasha's eyes widened, as she didn't even see a single scratch on Lilith. How can this be possible? I hit her with everything I've got, and she's not even fazed by my attack at all. Who is she? She must be an ultimate class devil, Sasha thought as she felt fear ignite. Lilith aimed her open hand at Sasha as her black and pink magic circle appeared. Prepare to be consumed by the darkness. Shadows of annihilation. Naruto's eyes widened as he noticed a thick black and pink flame-like smoke rushed towards Sasha, who put up a defensive magic circle. It's no use, all will be consumed by eternal darkness, Lilith said as her voice was cold, dark, emotionless, and sinister. The shadows completely devoured Sasha's magic circle before ensnaring her in their grasp. Sasha released a cry of pain as she felt the shadows literally consuming her. It was cold, but it burned like acid. Who are you? What are you? Sasha yelled out. Lilith gave a cruel smirk. I don't usually act like this, but you pushed me to do this, remember that. As to whom I am, my name is Lilith, the mother of all devils, formerly known queen of all devils. And I'm a super devil girl, Lilith hissed out as she released her 6 pairs of devil wings. Naruto looked on in surprise. This side of Lilith was the opposite of the previous one. She was acting cruel and brutal, just like a devil should act in theory. Lily-chan, Naruto thought as he stared on at her. Sasha was terrified. She was in the grasp of one of the most powerful devils in all of existence. And there was no hope for her. She knew for a fact Naruto wouldn't help her. However, she couldn't simply accept perishing in such an embarrassing manner. Struggling to break free from the shadows, attempting to pull to the side, the darkness latched onto her arm, severed it. Og, it's no use, you can't break out of my shadows. They hungry, I haven't fed them in the past millennia. And you happen to be the unfortunate soul who they shall feast upon. No, I won't accept this. I can't accept this. I will not perish to such a being as you. Sasha screamed, attempting to break free but failed miserably. It's time to say good night, dear. Welcome to your new home in eternal darkness. Lilith spoke in a cruel tone as she closed her fist. The shadows quickly tightened around Sasha before crushing her. Muffled screams could be heard from the shadows as blood poured down to the ground. The shadows dissipated after a few moments, leaving nothing behind but a pool of blood. Lilith gave a long, depressed sigh. I'm sorry you had to see that side of me, Naruto-kun. I don't like hurting people, she muttered sadly. Naruto walked towards Lilith before placing his hand on her shoulder. I understand why you did it, and if I was in your shoes I probably do the same thing. Naruto said before pulling Lilith into a hug. Lilith basked in the warmth that was Uzumaki Naruto as she inhaled his scent. He smelled so lovely, and the warmth of the hug broke through all her barriers and walls she built up around herself. She felt utterly exposed to him, naked and easy to be used as he was he first man ever to make her feel so defenseless and helpless. Moreover, she is loving every minute of it as she knew he was the one for her. He made her feel so naked and weak, yet he treated her so much better than any man she has ever encountered before. She openly cried out of joy and happiness. She has found love, true love. Something she craved for so long and dreamed about. She wouldn't give up this warmth, love, or happiness even if the world was being destroyed. Leaning back a bit, Lilith leaned forward and given Naruto a kiss filled with emotions such as love and passion. Naruto returned the kiss with equal passion and vigor as Lilith moaned at Naruto's tongue dominating her own. With soft caresses and light touches, Lilith embraced her love, feeling his stone-hard muscles beneath he fabric he was wearing and how toned and lean he was. Lilith shivered in delight as Naruto caressed her body the same way as the delicate touches sent shivers along her spine. They both broke apart, panting and blushing as their desire and lust was building. "And Naruto-kun," Lilith panted out as her voice carried lust, love, and yearning in her tone. Naruto smiled at the beautiful demonic get you home before Hades tries to skin me. Naruto chuckled sheepishly as the pair vanished into a magic circle. Azazel's office. Azazel, the leader of the fallen angels and governor of Grigori, sat in High's office alone, reading an important file he has on his desk. It's a thick Milena file that contains several documents, numbers, and results. Like a doctor's file, only more detailed and more complex. As the governor sat there and read over someone very dear to him, Azazel's violet-colored eyes scanned the label of the file as it read Uzumaki Naruto Medical Report File at the top. The seraph Fallen Angel sighed as he looked at Naruto's biology reports along with Naruto's physiology report that Azazel kept up to date with when he could. Pictures, graphs, and different readings were scattered throughout the report as Azazel made some notes of his own as he smiled. If I am right along with these readings, Naruto's chakra and magical power are becoming one and the same. Mystic chakra would be a good name. However, if my plan goes through, then Naruto should become the first human to manipulate demonic and divine types of magic. However, I would need help in this endeavor. Maybe I should give Odin or one of our allies a call and request this little experiment, Azazel thought as he smiled a bit like a loon. Azazel's eyes keenly look at Naruto's blood work and genetic work as the fallen leader simply smiled a bit. Whatever change is happening to Naruto, it's happening on a cellular level. His biology isn't only changing. His very genetic code is mutating as well thanks to that drug I whipped up. It seems I was right after all. Naruto, you are becoming something grand, and by my theory, by the end of it you will be able to use nearly all type of magic. It seems you're our Rakuto Sennin in this world, and you could rival the gods by the time your body is done adjusting to its ever-growing power. However, I doubt you notice these changes, as over the past 3 years they are slow and steady. The stronger you become, the faster your body changes. It's only a matter of time before your mutations are complete, and I can't wait to see that day, Azazel thought with a giddy expression as he took down several notes and key points in Naruto's file. With that little bit done, Azazel merely locks Naruto's file in a secret compartment in his desk. Who knew what power would be discovered when Naruto uses his magic combined with his Rakuto Sennin mode? The amount of potential in the thought alone made Azazel excited to see the full bloom of Naruto's power. Of course, Azazel didn't tell anyone this, as it was something Azazel himself wanted to keep secret. So, he told no one, not even Naruto himself. The end. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.